Hey, we're back, everybody. Check it out. It's the old CrunchCast, everybody's favorite show on the internet, apparently.
Hi, everybody.
There's John Jones. He's one of our good pals. He's here today. And good old Brian McConnell, our local Love Fest master.
How's it going?
Yeah, so this is the CrunchCast, episode 24. Again, you can always check us out at crunchstudios.com, where you can find links to all the videos and MP3 downloads and Twitter accounts and crap like that. We got a feed. It's nice. Everybody loves it. Hey, subscribe on YouTube like all the other people, and thank you, everybody out there on the YouTube, for giving my channel. We broke over 50,000 hits, or views, I guess, for my videos. Yeah, a lot of those go to a lot of the game art stuff and game videos I did, because I put up a Skyrim video. It's almost at 2,000 hit views or whatever, so it's like, yeah, boosting. Because it's not this show. No, but, yeah. So thanks for joining us.
How do people find time to look up videos of Skyrim? I mean, it seems like such a big enough game that you just... you wouldn't have time to go do anything else.
Yeah, no, that's what you do, is you find something that's so confusing, like, how do I do that? And like, oh, there's a video. Or someone has like a video that's more like a entertainment value than actual.
Yeah.
Like something wacky.
So Chris, what was your video that got that many hits?
I got an idea. I got an idea for a pacifist character from this other guy. This other guy on YouTube, he made this thing called Felix the Cat, or Felix the Monk, or whatever. And it's just a level 9 pacifist character that was doing pretty well. And so I was like, level 9, I can do better than that. And I was like level, I think 25, or maybe I got into 30-something. But I found out that pacifism in that game really isn't that hard. Once you get a few of those like calm and frenzy spells at the high enough level, you can just hit it on everything. And the game becomes a little easier because you're avoiding all combat. So you just walk by everything.
Wow.
But there's some situations where you have to kill stuff to move forward with a quest, and all those quests you can't do. Like, you have to kill in the main quest line, so you're kind of food on that. But
don't you have like the villagers killing for you though? Like,
it all depends. There's so many depending factors. But anyway, let's say
people have probably heard enough about Skyrim.
Yeah, let's say I got over 200 hours played in my Steam account apparently. But yeah, so it's fun. It's a fun game. Speaking of fun games, it should get just as much money and attention. The game we've been working on for a little while here called Nexuiz, which is it can be found on a PlayStation Network, the Xbox 360, and PC. Probably on Steam, of course. It'll be digital download, CryEngine 3 arena shooter, and it's pretty awesome. It's supposed to come out. I think they said, what they say, February, sometime next year. I don't know. I really don't know. It's not,
right now it's 2012. At the end of the trailer it says 2012.
Sure. I'm just an artist, so I don't set dates.
Mm-hmm.
What am I supposed to do? Go in there and say, I demand this be out in Microsoft. And they're like, we're Microsoft, shut up. You put it on our Xbox when we want.
You guys are one of the very first CryEngine 3 games, right?
One of the few. And there's only like 10 guys working on the game, and it's only going to be $10. $1 per man.
That's crazy.
Imagine if other games were like that. They'd all be like $500.
But yeah, we have a trailer out.
Yeah, the trailer
came out. Skyrim.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely check out the trailer. And Chris, like, for this episode, when we post it in the YouTube comments, we should post the links to everything we talk about in this. People have requested that, and I think it's a really good idea.
Oh yeah,
I agree. We need a pad and paper, or I mean, a pad and.
Well, that's an actual job. So.
Well, that one dude did it for us.
Yeah, and it took him a long time. And thanks to Zach D for writing up our. Because one day, because people were talking about it, and he said that to me. He said like, "Yeah, you should do that." I'm like, and I immediately said, what you're supposed to do when someone makes a critique, you say, "Thanks for volunteering to do this for us," because we need doers. You could tell us all day what you think the show should be, but if you're not actually going to do anything, there's the door.
We're about crowdsourcing.
Yeah, I mean, come on, you got to be, you got to. Either contribute or complain. It's your call.
The two C's.
The two C's. But anyway, yeah. Good times with that game coming out. Zach got the list down. We'll put the link in for the video for sure. Make sure I put in the right one too, because there's one. Our trailer actually, the actual Machinima, put up their video version of it, which got over 500,000 hits.
Holy crap! That's awesome.
And it just went up Friday, so that's good for us. And
it's crazy.
The official channel Nexus Shooter on YouTube just put it up again today, and that has only got a few views. So
yeah,
make sure we get the right one.
Pretty pumped.
It's gonna be awesome. Make money, bitches.
Dude, that's like 80,000 views per day since then.
I think most of those came like in that first night or so.
Dude, that's nuts. Good on you guys.
Yeah, it's pretty
You're
awesome.
doing some seriously cool shit, and people should look at it, pay attention to it. Nexuiz.
Yeah, it's a crazy spelling. And the pronunciation, like they say, just say whatever you like. I've just been calling it Nexus just because that's easy to say.
Yeah, I think they say it in the trailer. I think
maybe
the lady
the
says
lady,
it.
the voice. She's
So
like,
I'm just going to pronounce it the way she says
in the future where people are fighting and stuff.
But it's all about the spelling. Nexuiz. Google it, kids.
It's a weird name, but it's one of those situations where it helps us because people are like, what? I have to think about it. And that's how we win.
Yep.
By the way, John, your video did drop again. I mean, it's a lovely picture, so we can just recall or whatever whenever. I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
It's like the only flattering picture I've ever had in a preview.
So it's pretty nice, actually.
So Jesse was pretty much just brain dead today. Is that what he said?
Jesse Sosa, yeah, our usual guest.
Skanker
he's
Zero.
working hard.
Yeah,
Hardly working.
But actually, I am going to recall really quick.
Sure thing.
Sounds good, bro.
Okay, bro. Look at the, you can see that text. It says supply a fucking. I don't even know what that said. I said answer.
Is he gonna pick that up? That'd be relaxing.
You got me?
Yeah, there you are.
Cool.
Hooray! Maybe this we're just trying out this Google video chat for this one because again, old Johnny here, he's down in Austin and we're up here in Denver, Colorado, rocking it in the snow.
Oh yeah.
And I had a hardware failure. My AC adapter for my main laptop that I've always done the podcast on, it failed, and also my battery failed at the exact same freaking time.
Dang.
But fortunately, I have a crap load of other devices that can do video chat. So right now I'm doing this on my Google Chromebook, which is it's a laptop that has no Windows OS, no Mac OS. It is purely Google Chrome as an operating system. It comes awake from sleep in less than a second. It boots from cold in 12 seconds. The entire operating system is Google Chrome. When you log into your Google account. If you use Google Chrome, it'll auto-sync to all your account settings, all your bookmarks, all your add-ons, all your settings, all your saved passwords if you have them saved. Everything is there, available instantly. And the laptop has the built-in 3G modem, so I have a data plan for Verizon Wireless. So I can do this. I can do this from the middle of the desert as long as I have one bar. And has a built-in microphone, built-in video camera, and I got this in the early beta process. They sent out, I think, 150,000 of these in the early beta when they're first testing it, and I got it in the very first release of it. You have to submit in Twitter form 140 characters on why you should have one. I basically told them what a complete Google whore that I am, and I got it like the first week that it came out. It's been like a year and a week, and I still use it to this day, and that's what I'm doing this podcast on right now.
Hell yeah!
And what a good advertisement too, because your video froze again.
God damn it!
There's no saying on what end that's really happening on. These are computers, folks.
Yep, it's not the future.
As long as you have audio, that's really all that matters. Because our MP3s get way more activity than our YouTube videos.
So I'm just gonna stay frozen.
That's whatever feels good.
If we do,
but really, MP3s are that much more popular.
Yeah, like most of the MP3s track about 1,000 downloads, whereas the videos will get about 200 or so. Or,
wow.
I mean, 2 to 4, I would say.
Well, I want to start listening to the MP3s. At least Rogan's MP3s.
So it's like 200 if Brian is on, 400 if he isn't.
Something like that.
It's been a while since I haven't been on one of these, I think.
Brian's getting his name out there. Must be a huge super stud.
But with this Google chat, are we able to get another one on pretty easily? Most likely Jesse.
Well, we can set up a Google Hangout.
Okay.
And then we could have pretty much as many people as we want on there.
Oh, shit.
The downside is when you get that many people, you have to be careful about goofballs.
Yeah, I would never.
People that always make a sound or... Like somebody's sitting there eating a big bowl of spaghetti.
Yeah, or has an annoying laugh, or...
Yeah.
But, I mean...
I like wine.
we wouldn't ever we wouldn't ever get more than 4 people. That'd be ridiculous.
It's things get kind of nuts.
Yeah,
I agree.
There's a guy I know that used to do a lot of Google Hangouts with, but almost every time he would come into the Google Hangout with a big plate of dinner, just sitting there just like banging his silverware on the plate. Just
plate.
What a jerk.
And it's always like, dude, why are you eating? Get out of here.
So what's new with you, John? What's been going on?
Not a whole lot. Just drumming up business for the new year, doing a lot of fun back-end work in my business, getting systems for tracking all my different, different potential leads, working on like all the, methods for tracking payments and invoicing, basically all the fun back-end stuff, and just sending out a crap load of emails. January is going to be really, really crazy, and it's going to be the most I've ever handled. But toward the end of the year, nobody signs projects, and so it's pretty much dead. I'm working maybe like an hour, 2 hours a day at most. Mainly I'm just hanging out, doing my thing, and working from coffee shops and crap like that.
I see.
What about you guys?
Pretty much just that trailer. Kedron went to the IGA's, the Inside Gaming Awards show.
There's video of him pretty drunk doing some interviews.
Yeah, it is.
Everybody there was ridiculously drunk, though. If you've never been to a game show, then you don't know. That's the whole thing is you've got like during the day you get the floor where everybody goes out and does all their hanging out or like basically waiting for this crap to be over, so that everybody can grab dinner really quick, get cleaned up, and then go to whatever party is happening.
Yeah,
because the game industry shows are really about the parties afterwards, because that's where everybody actually gets to relax and have fun.
And that's where deals happen.
Yeah, that's where all this. That's where almost everything that actually happens. All the other stuff is just like, hey, we're giving the demo in front of this monitor, and I have to say these things because this dude is breathing down my neck if I say the wrong thing.
Yeah, and then at bars and parties and in strip clubs and whatnot, that's where the real, like for high-end stuff, that's where everything really happens. That's where projects get signed. That's where you get to see like the real measure of a man.
Yeah, actually getting to meet people.
You're just bullshitting around, and you're talking to the dudes face to face, being absolutely real. And that's where stuff happens. That's where you're like, okay, I have a budget of like $2.5 million. What can you guys do?
That keeps it real.
That's where it happens.
So yeah, that was pretty much the highlight of our week, I guess.
Yeah, I guess for last week, just basically focusing on that and getting things ready for all the certification stuff and fixing bugs because it's polished that time. We're showing off the trailer, we're talking about releasing, so we're polishing, we're fixing it up.
And you alluded to this in the last podcast on Friday. Big announcement.
Yeah, the big announcement. And I guess a part of that announcement was that THQ is official announced that they're our publisher. But it's if you read any of those news sites, because some news sites broke it early, and if you followed the Twitter account that's been around since ever, it was like a Nexus THQ like right next to it because they just
really? Oh my God! I thought you guys were published by Interplay.
Yeah, Capcom.
Yeah, we're by Capcom. That's right.
If you follow the game news,
according to the guys in Australia or whatever.
Capcom actually had to go out of their way to say no.
They were like, we wish.
I remember you laughing about it.
It's funny.
I wouldn't know either. I wouldn't care either.
Well, it's just funny that, why see if this is true? Let's just post it. Forget it. Who cares?
Let everybody else fact check.
Yeah. Once that's how journalism works. And until somebody tells you you're wrong, just do it.
Yeah. Because you got to be the first one.
It's mainstream news. That's how they work. They're just like, hey, just throw this out there, and if it's wrong, the next day we'll have like a 10-second segment where we go, oh, that was wrong, we apologize.
Like mainstream news, it's just like, first post.
Yeah, pretty much. All lies. But hey, one thing about that really quick, I just want to throw it out there. Again, it is like a $9.99 game, and I'm going to, beat this like a dead horse once we're actually shipping, but if you buy the game, it really supports the game industry because we're a small team of guys, we're like 10 people, and if this game works out, our next game is boosted to like a huge like AAA production staff, and so if enough people buy at this $10 game, that means that we'll be hiring triple the staff. We'll be helping expand the industry. It's one thing to be like, well, here's this big company that's doing this great game that's published and all that, but even if the game doesn't sell 20 million units, it's not successful enough, and the publisher shuts them down anyway. So it's like, even though you love the game, they still get shut down, whereas we're in the other situation where people...
Your break even is really low.
Yeah, our break even is low, and we're probably going to break even, on
Xbox, alone,
well,
possibly. But
it's projection kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because and by break even, I mean our game was developed very, very cheaply. And we were an indie studio of just a few guys, and I took a pay cut to come out here just because I thought this would be fun. We'll do a startup and see what happens, because it's fun to do that. Little indie games, do it. Everybody's always using that word and throwing it around like they know what they mean.
Yeah.
Instead of... Look, guys...
you guys practically are a garage developer.
Exactly. And I just want to say, indie games doesn't mean you're, crapping out some ideas. Indie games doesn't mean shitty art. Indie games means you're making a whole game, and it's awesome, and people love it. But you don't have publisher funding through the whole project.
Yeah, you guys are almost entirely self-funded, most of it, and THQ, I'm assuming, is just like, okay, this is some pretty fucking cool shit, let's publish it and promote it.
Well, a part of what they're doing is just helping with things like certification and testing.
Yeah.
Because to get a game on a console is extremely difficult, very limited slots, it must be highly scrutinized for bugs and stuff, even though, there are a lot of buggy games out there.
I would say that they're helping us with marketing too, but I think a lot of our marketing was done by viral posting.
Yeah, well, that one post we did on Polycount that got huge on Kotaku was one of the biggest marketing things for us.
209,000 views or something.
But a lot of our marketing, they're helping a ton with that, and Machinima is helping a ton with that too, because as you saw, they were the ones that put together our trailer.
Yeah, you guys are marketing from both ends. You got the big high-end THQ stuff. You got the stuff that you guys are doing individually, and you're coming at it from both angles and really promoting the shit out of it.
I mean, like I said, THQ's is the big name, Machinima's like the hardcore gamers, and we're just, small company.
I think before that Kotaku article, I think we weren't I think we weren't allowed to actually promote it ourselves, because Chuck was mentioning something about wanting to promote it ourselves, and THQ mentioned something along the lines of, okay, yeah, anyways. But
you can only talk about so many things, Brian.
Oh, I didn't.
Well, you just... Once you're like, so-and-so said, and so-and-so said, all right, shut up.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, if it's not what you're thinking...
Oh, okay.
It's not, don't put words in anybody's
I'm still
mouth.
a youngin'. I'm still a youngin'.
Yeah.
We're all
you never want to put words in anyone's mouth.
And you guys, can you talk about your first really big press push? The thing got you the most eyes last year?
The Kotaku thing, or the illfonic arrested thing?
The arrested thing.
Yeah, sure. I think we've talked about it on the show before, but I'm just going to go into it really quick, just briefly. GDC 2010, we were crunching for that. We're finishing up the project, and this was when we were running. If you saw us at GDC 2010, we were running on PlayStation 3 using the Quake engine, and it was pretty awesome. And we had a LAN set up going the whole time, never crashed. It was pretty sweet.
And it was fun as shit to play.
Yeah, you were there. You were there.
I was. It was fun.
It was great. We had that party at the W that had them all set up, and it was sweet.
Fucking W. That's some big shit, man.
Big deal. But yeah, we were crunching for it, and one night, the neighbor's building, the business next door to us, which was a weed store or a marijuana dispensary, because out here in Colorado, they're on every block. Literally, yeah. I shit you not. There's more of those than there's Starbucks and McDonald's. They're everywhere. So, and they are they have a lot of security issues. Say again?
Well, when I was visiting there, I saw a bigger billboard.
Oh, that giant! I remember. Did you take a picture of that? Did it come out?
It didn't come out.
Oh, well.
What giant billboard?
When John came out to visit for the UFC a few months back, Jones Rampage. When I picked him up for the airport, we were coming in, and there was this giant billboard. I mean, you got normal billboards on the side of a road. This one was just a monstrous billboard. It was so big that it was in the distance and up above buildings for a long way. This ridiculously giant billboard, and there was a few of them. It was like HempCon this weekend. I don't even know what it was.
It was the biggest billboard of anything I've ever seen.
Never seen a billboard
for weed.
Yeah, and
in Denver. That is Denver.
You know those the planes that pull the advertisement behind it, the sign.
Yeah, on those like
those things are those things fly over Denver every day with the "Get High" and then it's the name of a shop. It's pretty ridiculous.
So that gives you the context for Denver. So you're next door to a marijuana dispensary.
Mm-hmm. And security is very high for it. And this was, again, 2010, so this was back when all this stuff was really starting to happen, and they were getting robbed a lot. So their security systems were pretty high, and also very shitty, because, again, there were so many of them, they're all being installed fast, and they couldn't maintain all these things. So this thing started going off in the middle of the night, and it was going off as the hostage situation warning was going off. So the police were immediately like, "Oh shit! Woo! Get your guns out!" And so we're next door, and they couldn't get into the weed store because it was locked and everything was fine. So what did they do? They just bust into our place, and like first thing, like I'm right there next to the door where I was sitting, and all of a sudden it's just this door comes flying open and there's a flashlight. And all you can see when there's a flashlight pointed in your face is a flashlight. Everything else is black. And all of a sudden it's just gun in my fucking face. And this dude is like walking me out with my arms up, and there's this other dude out there with guns just pointed right at our heads and like pushing against the wall and handcuffing us and like.
What time was this?
This is pretty late at night. I don't know exactly what time. It was probably around either before or after midnight, but I'm not sure. When you're crunching late, who knows? Who knows? But so they did, and it was like just me, a programmer Paul, and the animator James were the only ones there. So they got us out and like threw us on the ground and all that shit. And the videos. You can YouTube illfonic arrested and find the video. It's all in black and white because as soon as it happened, we've got our own awesome security camera because of all that stuff going down and being right next to a store that might get robbed.
Yeah.
So we've got this great camera and you can see it all. And it was within a few hours of that happening. It was like an hour. I got it off the security camera, and one of the dudes edited it and put it on YouTube. And that's pretty awesome, the technology.
Yeah.
And that was probably our first big boost, because after that we actually had a bunch of people apply for the job because they didn't know there was a company out here.
That's actually how Toby got the position.
Yeah,
He applied.
one of our programmers.
Yeah.
Wow, really? Toby?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I saw it the day after it happened because James messaged it to me. I wasn't working there yet because this was prior to GDC 2010. And when they came back from GDC 2010, that's when they were looking for some new artists. So that's when I got hired on. But I did see the video, and it is pretty humorous.
And you guys got crazy views off that.
A lot.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how many views the video's got. I'm going to look it up really quick just to see. But views aside, like total views for a video. Okay, say you're Rebecca Black and you put up the Friday video. That's everybody all around the world getting into it and loving it and hating it, and then rewatching it over and over and over, and it becoming a huge internet meme, internet sensation. Whereas this kind of video is like, if 1,000 people see it, it's a huge deal because it's just a small company of people in a random situation that no one else would give a shit about.
In the middle of Denver, Colorado.
There's not even internet out here.
Yeah.
It got over 22,000 views.
Really?
Yeah, like
Wow.
Yeah, like in Denver, there is no internet, believe it or not.
Nah,
it's all
that's
done
cool.
by carrier pigeons. I have no idea how carrier pigeons work for broadband, but you guys make it
Broadband.
work.
They freeze to death.
That's why we're able to chat with John so well, is because they fly south in the winter.
Brian, you made a smart joke. Good for you. I'm so proud.
No,
Look,
but
everybody, Brian knows bird migration patterns.
This guy is straight out of Monty Python. He's all like, "Is it an African sparrow?"
That's
or
one of
European.
my. That's one of my
Or
favorite
European,
movies.
yeah. Or Swallow, it's Swallow, sorry. The internet's going to kill me for that.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Prepare to get stoned.
Yeah. And my favorite character from Star Wars is Jar Jar Binks.
Not only did you mention one of the original Star Wars movies, but you butchered the name.
Yeah. Actually, I should have said my favorite Star Trek character. That really, the internet would be like, ooh.
One of my favorite tweets recently was, I don't know why I liked it so much, but it was on Twitter we have all of these followers but no leaders. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why I liked that one so much, but
There are no leaders in the future consciousness.
Yeah, because everyone's just following everyone on Twitter, so it's like just a circle of.
It's like the Occupy Wall Street show. There's no show. The Occupy everywhere, all over the world. Not just the Wall Street. It's everywhere. There's not a leader. There's not a guy. It's just people going, I agree, and then being involved. Isn't that crazy? There's no leader. It's the new consciousness.
Yeah.
But I just for like stupid Star Wars jokes, a long time ago I interviewed with BioWare, Austin. It didn't end up working out. It wasn't the right fit. But when I interviewed, they asked me what my favorite Star Wars movie was. I told them Holiday Special.
Oh, the one where it's like the Ewoks and the Chewbacca's family and stuff?
Yep.
I've seen that before. It was like really hard to watch. I don't think I watched the whole thing. I might have, it's like
actually shit in retrospect that maybe why it didn't work out. Damn. But yeah, so they were super cool. But as soon as I told them that, like the main guy stood up and said, "You can go."
Oh snap!
I mean, the interview continued, but oh my god, like I'm not one who gives a fuck, and just for God's sake, if an opportunity that ripe and that funny presents itself, then fuck it, I'm doing it.
Dude, I haven't seen that. I just got like some of the original VHS Star Wars, like not edited at all. So I'm gonna have to get my VHS player out.
That's the way to watch it, man.
Yeah.
Because once that stuff got edited, it just got horrible.
What's up, John?
Brian, good on you. You know what VHS is.
Yeah. Remember that feeling you get?
Yeah.
But I'm because I want to watch the originals. I need to watch them and like get ready for my next interview for when they ask me that question. I mean, just
back when Han shot first, man. Dude, I saw a picture on Reddit this week. Saying I'm just paraphrasing the hell out of it. Like in Empire Strikes Back, when Lando is leading Luke, Leia, and Han into the conference room, saying, "Oh yeah, we struck a deal, blah blah blah, whatever. You know, everything's gonna be fine. The Empire's not gonna bother us." And Darth Vader's in the room. Han didn't fuck around. He didn't, duck. He didn't scream. He didn't hesitate. He didn't try and like run out of the room. Motherfucker pulled out his gun and started shooting at Vader instantly. Absolutely zero hesitation. How badass is that?
And he shot first.
That in a movie now. He wasn't scared. He's like, "Fucker, you're dead."
Yeah.
And just started shooting.
Dude, that's what I did in Skyrim. I was like, I was supposed to deliver some message to Ulfric Stormcloak, who's pretty much Hitler. And the first thing I did, I was like, fuck this guy. I pulled out my arrows of death that one-shot everything. I was like, boom! I was like, one-shotted, dead. But it turned out he was a quest character, so he just couldn't die. He just stayed kneeled down for 20 minutes on fire. Because
I tried to kill Maven Blackbriar the same way.
Oh, that chick? Yeah. Quest characters, you can't pickpocket all the way to nudity or kill. And it is unfortunate.
Although, earlier today I did actually sneak in her house and steal everything of value. It's our like Dark Brotherhood.
Is that what you're doing?
Request, yeah. I saw all that shit just on my own, just for fun. And then she ended up catching me, and she was totally cool about it. Then the guards caught me, and I was able to buy my way out for only 5 gold after stealing like a couple thousand gold out of her place, which is badass. Speech for the win, man.
Oh man,
you there? I know you.
Run, or well, trot past jollily.
Well, what were some of the questions we got this week, by the way?
Well, we're mainly looking at this one. That
I think I read one of them.
It was the one about the layoffs.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And this is the ultimate John question, because I'll just go ahead and reiterate the question for Juan Wones over here. With all the layoffs that have been happening for the last couple of years, and let me just say, it's not all the layoffs for the last couple of years. It's been happening forever. It is a common trend in the industry. And if you're not ready, if your portfolio isn't always ready to go, then you're not really doing what you should do.
Yep.
Unless you're like at one of those big places where you're like if you were working at Blizzard like 20 years ago, and and they're working on Diablo 3 and you're still working on it, I'm sure you're stable until the game ships at least. But no, let's go back to the question instead of my dumb jokes that no one likes.
Well, actually, just a quick note for Blizzard and apparently Activision, their policy is as soon as a Blizzard game ships, they lay off 5% of employees instantly. I worked with a guy that was one of the best artists I've ever seen, and they hired him and they stuck him on maps for 2 fucking years. And the whole promise of Blizzard bonuses, this and that, blah blah, this whole big promise and bullshit. Then this was on WoW. As soon as WoW shipped, he was a part of the 5% that was laid off and never saw a fucking dime from WoW.
Yeah, dude, one of the best artists I've known. He used to be a roommate of mine. There was one of those EA layoffs where like throwing darts at a board, and they're like, you have to lay off one character artist, and they got him. And it's like, why doesn't it even make sense? And we got like 100 other dudes who just sit here doing nothing all day, and they attack the smallest team of the most talented people, like the concept art team and the character art team on Warhammer was just, I mean, again, all the other artists, animators, everybody were great, but I mean, those guys specifically, like those guys could do anything awesomely, and everyone was a cool guy too. It's ridiculous. So it's just a shame that they would say you have to lay off one character artist. Like, anyway,
yeah,
and if you're the most,
shit happens.
And on paper, if you're the highest paid guy there, you're at the most risk.
Yes, exactly.
Really?
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yep.
It's happened to me before. I was at a place one time, and because of my experience, I was the highest paid guy, and it wasn't a job that was going away because as soon as the day after I was laid off, they put this other guy right in my spot, and he was like, "Damn it." Because then they had to totally train him for a whole month to figure out all the crap I was doing because I was the only person doing it.
See, they don't calculate the cost of everybody else's time having to train up the new guy to learn everything the old guy had done for however many years.
It's weird.
It's just purely on paper, this is how much per month we're paying this guy, and he's the easiest target for laying off because on paper, like, look, character artist, doesn't matter what his level of production is, doesn't matter how much he puts out. I mean, it's, he costs us this much, but these other guys cost us, this much minus 20%. Why the hell don't we keep them? Honestly, a lot of these decisions are up to just pure bean counters. They're not on site. They're at the publisher side. They don't understand this, and the people within the studio don't always go to bat for these people. Sometimes it works. Sometimes absolutely the best people are left, but they have to try. It's rare. And they have to try really hard to make the best business case for saying, look, this guy's been here for 4 years. He knows how to do everything. He can do anything in half the time to anybody else. Yes, we pay him 20% more, but he can do 50% more in the same amount of time as someone that's new that's starting up.
Exactly. These dudes are awesome for a reason.
It's bullshit. Even if you're the top dog at a particular studio, you are still at risk of being laid off just because you're, the decision comes from outside the studio. And that if you think about that decision goes against everything that basically capitalism or humanity kind of stands for. The fact that who's the best? Like imagine Michael Jordan. If Michael Jordan was cut from the Bulls and replaced by some college draft because Michael Jordan was getting paid too much, how much sense does that make? None. Makes none. Okay, you're the best, so we're just going to knock you off the spot because you cost too much. And it doesn't make any sense at all. But a lot of those, you think there's volatility within the game industry for being a production or somebody in production. The people that are like I don't want to say above them because it's not the right word. Really, I'll say it. They're below us. Anyone that's involved in like executive work or like if you're involved in video games, you don't actually work on the video game. Like those types of people. It's even worse for them. Those guys are like, as soon as they walk in, they're fucking fired.
But those guys are just in and out, in and out. They're like the guy who's like whoever at one place is he's whatever at the other place next week. Again, I remember when those guys at EA were like the executives would come flying in to give talks. Like every other month it'd be a different guy. It's like the guy running the studio or the guy running the whole company or not necessarily, but you know what I mean. Those high level guys are just, I don't know what the deal is. They're just in and out. It's kind of like what's his name? Shoot, Adam Carolla. He was on one of the Rogan podcasts talking about. He's like, who would be the funniest person you could think of? That would have to be the head of comedy at NBC. You'd think, oh, this guy he knows everything about comedy. He can recite Bill Cosby bits, and he's got Groucho Marx pictures on the wall. It's like, no, these people aren't funny at all. They don't know anything about comedy. They go back to their family reunion or their high school reunion, and they go, oh, what do you do? And like, I'm the head of comedy at NBC, and everybody just busts out laughing. They go, well, you don't have a funny bone in your body. You never said anything funny in high school. How did that happen? And I'm kind of verbating him, but it's
politics.
It's just like that. It's like, well, my son just graduated from college. He's got a job.
And dude, nobody, no matter, even if you're the lowest level guy at the company, nobody is above politics. Just learn how to be smart about it. Learn to, make friends, network, do your thing. Nice. Absolutely nobody is above politics. It's not something you can skirt around. It's not something you can ignore. Very few people are talented enough to be above and beyond politics. The smart people are the ones that are really fucking talented, work really fucking hard, but also understand politics. It's not something you can just take and just turn a blind eye to. It's not something you can ignore. Just learn how people work, learn how to survive in that kind of development environment, because nobody anywhere in any industry succeeds without knowing at least something about politics and about dealing with people. Honestly, politics is about dealing with people, but understanding their relationships and power struggles and shit like that. Just nobody's above politics, and the sooner you learn that, the sooner you become good at that. It's not a bad thing. You can make politics work. You can keep your soul. Politics itself is not a bad thing. Just learn how to thrive in that kind of environment. Learn to listen to shit that's going on around you, and don't assume that you're so smart and so confident and so talented that you're above it. Learn how to thrive in that kind of environment, because you're not just being hired. Well, you're being hired as an artist. You're going to be an artist, but you have to work with other people that have ambitions, that have opinions, that are, maybe best buddies with the boss or whatever the fuck. You need to learn how to understand that, how to work with it, how to do the best you can, how to make the right connections, how to be the best person you can to the people that matter, to be able to continually justify your position. It's an ugly reality. It's a very ugly reality. It's shitty. I would honestly prefer this to be a pure meritocracy, but you cannot get around politics. And the sooner you embrace that, instead of thinking of as this horrible evil thing that you're above, you can just do better and be above that. The sooner you can get past that belief, the more successful you'll be. And you don't have to be a dick to do it, to understand it.
It just helps.
Exactly.
Yeah. I like to think that I know when to suck up and when to brown nose, and then I'd like to know when I need to
when to laugh at jokes.
Yeah, when to put on a fake smile and laugh at jokes. And then, but on the other side,
you gotta stop. Dude, I'm gonna die. Yeah.
But on the other side, I like to know when I need to step up and voice my opinion and really stand up for what I believe in. It's kind of, I don't know, it's a good practice to have in everything, not just the game industry.
I do have a problem of, even no matter who it is, no matter how high level they are, sometimes it's like, what are you talking about?
Well, you would be an idiot to do that as a startup.
As a beginner.
Yeah.
I can kind of pull it off with my experience. I can just like raise my hand and be like, no. But it's just all good fun.
It's a careful balance between expressing your opinion and being like a driving force or trying to be a driving force in the direction of the game, and being an asshole. Sometimes
I'm always thinking about the game or the project or the people.
Exactly, and honestly, just from a psychological level, I feel like if you can come from the standpoint of, okay, first off, you're talented. Let's take that as just an assumption. You're talented. If you can come at every single problem and every single interpersonal, relationship and every disagreement, if you are coming from the standpoint of, I only care what is important for the game, and these are the people that back me up on this, you're almost impossible to fight against. Just as long as, like, I only care about the game, and if you disagree with me, the implication is you don't care about the game. And this is the most important part. On top of that, if you agree with these people on the project that are important to it. So the implication is, if you disagree with me, you don't care about the game, and you're going up against this guy and this guy. All I care about is the game. And honestly, the only way to make that work is if you do. If you really do care about the game. Don't just fake it, don't lie. Just care the fuck out of about what you do. Care about what you're working on, love the people you're working with, and just make it clear that the only thing that's important to you is doing the best thing for the game, but have people at your back. Yeah. Align with people in the organization that care about the game that are important. So people will try and fuck around with you or just do whatever. Just say, look, the only thing I care about is the game, and these are the people that back me up.
Yeah, and of course that's not always going to work, but that is definitely, it all comes down to the lead in the end. Whatever he says goes, and you're going to have to deal with that too. You're going to have to throw away some of your art that you truly enjoy or you truly worked hard on, just because it doesn't fit what someone wants, or it doesn't.
You just got to be a professional sometimes.
Yeah,
it's funny it's funny. Sometimes when people, I'll hear it all the time. Anywhere I've been, especially the younger people are, when someone's like, redo all this or make it different, or it's cool to stand up for your art and what feels right, but at the same time, you're still being paid. Yeah. If someone is telling you to redo something, it's like, oh, so you want to pay me to do it twice? Cool. All right, let's go. Yeah, it's still a job.
Kedron came up to me like 2 months ago and told me that I was going to have to redo all the dynamic mutator icons. This was after all 100 of them were done. Yeah, and I just went, okay.
Yeah.
That's what else am I going to do? They got to be redone. So I was like, oh, okay.
But sometimes you just got to roll with it.
Yeah. Luckily they didn't have to get redone, but I was prepared to redo all of them. So.
And see, politically, if you can be the go-to guy that can get shit done no matter what, if you can be the guy that's willing to get shit done no matter what and can deliver on it enough times, that is building political capital within a company. Yeah. As long as you align with the right people, the people that believe in the game, that really want shit to be absolutely perfect. Even if you don't necessarily agree with what they want to do, if you can agree with it and roll with it and just get that shit done, that builds a lot of credibility for you within the organization as being the guy that just wants to get shit done and be great. And if you can align yourself as that guy, if you can market yourself as that guy within the company, it makes it really hard for people to disagree with you, because you can say, look, I only care about getting the game done. This is my entire past, my entire history, my interaction with all the people who want to get the game done that are important. This is the only thing I care about. You can look at my record, and subtly, the implication is, if they're arguing with you about a certain thing, if you have a serious issue with that, then look, okay, I'm aligned with everybody that cares about this game getting done. That's the only thing I've ever done. What is your argument here? Do you not care about the game being done? You don't have to say that, and this sounds really shitty and really manipulative, but, honestly, you can do this in an honest way. Just find the people that care the most about getting the game done. They're doing the best job, that are the most influential, that really are fully, truly invested in this, and just get in with them. Right. Because, if you take a job, you should absolutely love everything, if at all possible, love everything about that company. You love the game, you love where they're going, you love their direction, you love the people you're working with, you love what you do, and you understand your part in it. You want to do absolutely the best that you can. Just be completely honest and straightforward and passionate as hell about that, and then just never it's never about dick measuring. It's never about, I want to be this way, even if it's not the best thing for the game. That takes some.
Those colors aren't good.
Exactly. But if you're only ever the guy that cares about the game and wants to work with the people that want to make the best game possible, and when people fuck with you, just say, look, I'm just doing what this guy wants. I'm just doing the best that I can. Then that puts you in a stronger position politically at that company. And I feel like if you're honest about it and you work that, then you're in a really good position at that company. It's less likely that you'll be laid off. And I would never, ever, ever condone acting that way or thinking that way or doing anything like that unless you 100% truly, in your heart, believe it.
Yeah.
Passion.
And that can be misused. But honestly, just be honest. Do what you do. Don't lie.
Yeah, I was going to say there is a benefit to iterations. I mean, that's one of the things that makes Blizzard's games so great is they've got the ability. They've got the money, they've got the products, they've got the clout to absolutely be sure the game is perfect. Everything they do before it even comes out. Of course, plenty of people always complain about the latest WoW patch or whatever, but what do I know? I never played that game. But it's also negative for them because they have such a reputation that it has to be perfect. So they get a lot of iterations, and someone could say that's a negative thing because you're redoing all this stuff all the time. But they're redoing it, making it perfect. So if that's something that really bothers you, and your dream job is to work at Blizzard, maybe your dream job isn't to work at Blizzard.
Yeah.
And honestly, when you're applying for a job, you just ask questions. You just ask a lot of questions, and just be really honest, and just don't try an interview goes both ways. Have a list of questions ready to ask them. Something I've been actually, it was like, quote unquote, I applaud you for that question, is asking, how long on average have people that worked at that company worked at that company? Just to get a sense of turnover. If people only stay for a year to a year and a half on average, run. But just ask really honest questions. Like, okay, if what do you think is the biggest risk of working at that company? Or the most difficult? Don't say difficult. The biggest risk. Say what would you say is the most difficult part of working in that company? But pair that with before that, ask what's the best part of working in that company, just to kind of soften that.
Soften that blow.
Yeah.
Just come right at them with. So, how many people here think you're a dick? Honestly.
Exactly. just ask how they develop, and just be really, really honest. Like,
when you give your feedback to the artists that work under you, how many of them immediately sigh?
Feel like shit like that, but ask in a really, really smart manner.
Can you produce the same or higher quality art than the people below you, or are you just pulling everything out of your ass?
Well, to be fair, that really depends on the question.
I was thinking of some terrible questions to ask on an interview.
Yeah.
Well, hell yeah. Okay, for the artists that I've managed on my projects, I am not at the level of production artist. The last time I was a production artist was.
That's just because you've been pulled in a different direction so strongly.
The last time I was a production artist was 2 years ago, and that wasn't to a great extent. I'm more in management now. I know how to do the shit. I know how to get the shit done.
You still make art. It's pretty cool every now and again, but
I know the tools, but I'm not the level of a production artist, even though I know what the hell I'm looking at. But I have years and years of experience backing that up. And I try really hard to be current with tech in terms of being able to understand it enough to tell people what to do to be able to manage it. Yeah. So I think not being, the fact they're not able to do exactly the same thing that an artist would, or not bring the resources, the fact they're not able to do the same thing that an artist would should not preclude you from being an effective manager or director, because that's a completely different skill set, which most people are not suited.
Hey, so in that initial question about layoffs and stuff, we never even got to the subject of the sentence.
I was going to say that, yeah.
Actually, I'm going to grab a drink really quick. I'll be right back.
Bye. I want to do that too. Damn it.
Me too. I'm kind of thirsty.
Look at all this water I got, Brian.
We might as well. We might have lucky. And you got ice over there too. Oh, almonds.
This water is so good.
Anyway,
Yeah, I keep a dry roasted almonds at my desk. Hey,
should-
while
should-
John's gone, let's talk about being totally bush and buff and tough in sports. Today, we got a little gym at work. It's pretty nice. We used Craigslist, spent about $200. Got like 300 pounds, Olympic bar, squat rack, all this stuff's great.
bench, yeah.
The full thing, the full setup. And with the stuff that I already had, my own that I brought in, full gym. So we had reached that limit of like things like deadlift. We only have about 300 pounds of weight, so that's the limit to all our deadlifting. And Brian, he's so strong and tough and young and on the juice that he just needs to go farther than that. And it was also limiting me on a few lifts because I am weaker than shit. But for deadlift, most people can lift a lot more weight than they really know they can lift. Like most people can deadlift their own body more than their own body weight. They just have no idea because they've never done it. Mm-hmm. People are a lot stronger than they may know. So what? Yeah, we went to Sports Authority. It's right across the street from where we work, which is totally cool because we can go in there and get all the sports we want.
Yeah.
At an increased price because it's Sports Authority in downtown.
It's the only authority that I respect.
I tell you what.
No, I'm just kidding.
And
dirty joke.
we went there and normally weights are really expensive if you ever actually bought them new. I suggest go to Craigslist if you want to get any exercise equipment because everybody buys it and never uses it.
Yeah, especially in like February or like
Yeah.
after people
Right
make
after
those resolutions.
Christmas.
Yeah, after they make their New Year's
I'm
resolutions.
going to get
and
in shape, and then by January they're like, fuck this. I want my spot in my garage back.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just went over there. We were trying to get them on Craigslist, but we were just having a hard time getting back from people. So I'm just like, look, I got to work out today. I got to get strong. I got to get ready for Christmas. And I'm just like, we're going to go buy weights right now. And went over there. They had this 45-pound plates and all the other weights on clearance. These things were $19.97. When they, on the rack, it said it was $24.97. When they rung it up, it was $19.97. I was like, yes. I thought I was going to have to spend like $90 for 2 of these plates. Ended up just spending, was it $40 total, I guess?
40 total, yeah.
So bam. Did my workout today, 100 dips, 100 of those hanging rows where you pull yourself up to the bar, and a bunch of band work and some yoga. After that, I'm like, load this weight up, and I get the 350-pound rack pull, which is basically a partial deadlift from the knees.
Nice.
So I felt pretty cool. It felt good to like put more weight than we had on the bar and lift it. It's nice to be back into that. I've done more than that before. I used to be a lot younger and bigger and stronger, but it feels good to what's half of 350?
It'd be
175.
Yeah.
So that's 2 times my body weight.
That's awesome.
That's where you're supposed to be. You deadlift 2 times your body weight, then you're a beginner. And that's true. Yep. That's actually true. Like those crazy powerlifting dudes, or the record is like 1,000 and something pounds. It doesn't even make sense. They told people for years that, it's impossible for the human body to lift 1,000 pounds, and Andy Bolton just did it. He's like, whatever. Mm-hmm. Crazy MFers. So, hey, John's back. I'm going to finish reading this question instead of talking about sports, because I know everybody's like at home right now or sitting at their desk just sweating just from hearing that. Just from hearing that, they're like, their side starts hurting.
I'm in the same boat, man.
Hey, it happens. I wasn't in
I'm
great shape.
5'1", 490. I mean,
I wasn't in great shape earlier this year, and when I started working out, I cut down to 170. I was like 200 something. So yeah,
well, you peaked at like 225, 230,
somewhere
right?
around there. And then I just got into biking and eating a little better, and high reps, low weight. So I'm going to finish this question out. Let's see here.
Start it.
I'll just reboot the question. With all the layoffs that have been occurring,
get some water while you're doing that.
What are some ideas for continuing to stay current, survive, and sane? 3 different things. But current and survive kind of work together. Survive. No, it doesn't. That's saving money. Anyway, what are some of the ways to stay current, survive, and sane while you look for the next thing, as in the next job, cabin fever and whatnot, because it makes you go crazy when you're sitting at home by yourself, and it does, I can tell you about that. And that's something a lot of people deal with. Maybe that can tie into the freelancer stuff. Thoughts? I like to read questions in a way that makes the person look silly. And it's not their fault. it's how poorly I am at reading out loud. You can always tell if I'm reading something from the script because it's like one guy in the PC thread had some really good about. I thought. Oh wait, I said that wrong. I thought. That's just how. That's how you can tell if it's me actually talking. Turtles. This is how I sound. Go ahead. Oh yeah, I like turtles. That guy. So yeah, feel free to just start stomping, John. I got to do my drink thing now because I'm last on the list and the most pissed.
So, if you have an idea of if you think you're going to be laid off, assume that you're going to be laid off and start looking for jobs immediately. No job will come to you. I'd say 90% of the time, no job will come to you in less than 2 months, and that usually won't cover the amount of severance that you get. I'd say 4 weeks is average. 2 weeks is less common, but that's the max amount of severance you're going to get from the day that you're laid off, unless your company is completely fucked and doesn't pay you anything. So if you have an idea that you're going to be laid off, start looking for jobs now. It's not a matter of loyalty. It's because there is none. There's no such thing as loyalty. Game developers try to foster loyalty and make you feel like you're invested in the company. You need to you need to show faith. You need to show them that you think that they're going to succeed. And honestly, work your ass off. Do the best you can. But the second they have to cut a budget, they're going to lay your ass off, and they're not going to give a fuck.
Yeah.
Well, actually, not giving a fuck. I won't say that. The people that are involved in laying people off it is really hard on them. They'll drink a lot. They'll be, puking every fucking day. Because nobody likes having to lay off, 10, 20, 30, 50, 100, 200 people. Nobody's cool with that. I don't think there's a human being alive that's okay with that.
Yeah.
But if shit gets real and the cash flow situation is such and such where they have to get rid of this many people, you're gone. There's no loyalty to you. There's no consideration of, you put this many years in the company. They don't give a fuck. So as soon as you get an idea there's going to be a layoff going on, start interviewing because it's going to be a minimum of 2 months before you even get hired if you get an offer, which is a big if because the game industry is really fucked up nowadays. So if you hear that, start looking immediately. Polish up your resume, polish up your portfolio. Don't have faith. Fuck faith. Fuck faith. Fuck hope. Just do whatever the hell is best for you at that time. Do the absolute damn best you can to look out for number one, because nobody else is going to do that but you. No matter how good an employer may seem to you, you're gone in a second if shit gets real. So, yeah, if you hear that, start looking, start preparing, expect to be laid off, just expect to be laid off tomorrow. Act as if. Yeah. Act as if you're going to be laid off tomorrow.
Carpe diem.
Exactly. Seize the fuck out of the day.
Yeah. And you should...
Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say I'm not very good at it, but you should always try to have your portfolio really close, or at least be ready to update your portfolio. It shouldn't take you very long to.
Oh, it's so hard.
That's the point I made earlier.
Yeah,
it's so hard to do that. But see, honestly, okay, this is not going to be a popular opinion among employers, but while you're working there, everything you ever work on, save and back up to a portable hard drive. This is going to be technically
it's frowned upon,
but do it.
Like masturbating on a plane.
Exactly. Everybody does it. But back up everything you ever do to a portable hard drive and plan on putting that shit in your portfolio. I know a lot of people that have been in the position of being laid off and not allowed to access their work, not allowed to put in your portfolio. And I've been in that place to this day. One of the projects I worked on, I'm never allowed to show any of that to anybody for as long as I live, or I'll be sued to death. So back that shit up.
Yeah, I've seen layoffs when it's bigger companies where HR is kind of a-holes. They're not really humans. They're like some kind of robot or lizard people that are brought in to just torment humans instead of being actual human relations, which is strange. How come human relations are so mean? We talked about that before, but anyway.
Well, HR can seem really evil just because they deal with the absolute worst of the worst kind of people.
That was where I was going to go with that. But they have to deal with these awful, awful people called game developers. They don't even flush toilets. But no, it's.
I told you about that one company that sent out that email the most embarrassing email anyone has ever had to send. This is one of the largest game companies on earth. And I talked to someone that received this email. It was an official company letterhead saying, please stop pooping in the urinals and pissing on the toilet paper and wiping boogers on the walls. From the president of a company that's now like 2,000 people.
Oh, yeah.
The CEO of the company had to send that to people.
I was at a company that had a problem with somebody that instead of pooping on the toilet, they would like lower their pants and just point their butt at the toilet, like at the wall, and just spray the wall. What? And they would do this. This would happen almost every day. And I don't mean like they kind of aimed at the toilet and just missed a little bit. I mean like there's like I saw some video online of a guy just spraying the wall of their bathroom once with his butt, and that was literally what was happening.
Oh my god.
Anyway, the one thing I was saying about the layoffs was I've seen layoffs happen where somebody goes, "Hey, come with me," and it's like you're just your boss. You're like, no big deal, and then next thing you know, he's leading you to a room full of people, and you never see your desk again.
Oh no.
Yeah.
They let you know you're being laid off, and they go, "What do you have at your desk that you need?" Like basically, they just mean your keys, because they're going to email you a personal address or call you or whatever, and to set up a time to pick up all your stuff that somebody else boxed. So once a guy just says, "Hey, come in with me," it could happen anytime, any company, anywhere.
Yes.
That's when you never see any of that work or anything on that PC ever again.
Yeah.
So if you love it, don't leave it.
Even as a manager, I've been laid off. And I told them, so the team stayed intact, or part of the, well, sorry. There was a small number of the people on the team that were left that were still outsourcing art to like 30 artists. So I told them, okay, well, I'm being laid off. I'd be happy to give you a list of every single person I've been in contact with, the status of every single asset in the project, and I'll show you every single Excel document and hands-off file and everything I've ever dealt with on this project so you can pick it up without losing any time whatsoever. And they said, no, that's okay.
Yeah, that's stupid.
We'll just look through your files, we'll look through your email, which is going to take them, which could take God knows how long, depending on who they put on that afterwards.
Because all your emails are like cats.
Dude, I get like 200 emails a day when I'm managing that level of artists. And over a week, and that's fucking 1,000 emails a week, man.
God dang.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's every single one of those is an actionable email. I have to be able to remember every single thing about the artist and the project and where the assets are and where things are internally. That's every single email requires that level of attention. And even at that level, when I was being laid off, they said, that's fine.
Like, nah,
We're not letting you get back to your computer.
It's so crazy, man.
My Gmail storage hovers around like 1% full. Like it hovers in that area. I can't imagine what yours is like.
It's insane.
Well,
and
you know that Redman dude, his filled up.
Sense.
He had to get a new one.
Really?
Never expect a company to make sense.
Yeah.
So save all your shit locally and assume you can be laid off at any time on any day. Honestly, just think of yourself, even if you're full-time employed, even if you feel secure.
Even if you're a lead.
Yeah, even if you're a lead. Never feel secure. Always treat everything as if you're a fucking mercenary and anything can end at any time.
Hell yeah.
And then trying to find peace in that's a different podcast altogether. That's really fucking hard.
Yeah,
but
it's weird.
Assume this.
Oh, yeah.
And
I know. I've had guys, like I said, I've had plenty of companies I've worked at where there's layoffs, so I'm accustomed to it. I understand all these things and what they really mean. But plenty of these places have been always have a new hire. Tons of them, more than veterans almost, it seems, especially these days with college just pumping them out like Sarah Palin's pumping out kids. But it's so crazy to them. Like they just had their dream handed to them, and all of a sudden everything is taken away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because if you just lived at your parents and then all of a sudden you're, oh well, I got this big paycheck, I'm making games, and you got a house out there or apartment and everything's great, and all of a sudden all that money stops. And a lot of these guys don't save money, especially young guys. Young guys do not save money. They just go check to check. And understandably, they're probably at an entry-level salary, but still.
Yep.
Don't blow your money every night on booze, even though it's fun. Do like one night where you save $20.
Yeah.
Yeah, so dude, if you make $60K a year, these numbers are rough. If you make $60K a year, that's $275 a day, $27.50 a week. $27.50 every 2 weeks. That's $5,500 a month. If you're netting $5,500 a month, save as much as you possibly fucking can. And if you make above X amount, they're going to think, okay, well, if we hire a new person to replace this guy, he's only going to cost this much per week, per month, whatever. That's the amount of money that you're netting. There's going to be 50% on. 1.5 to 2 times X or to 2 times your salary is the amount of actual overhead of what they are paying for you. They'll hire someone to replace you, and even if it takes them 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever, that's the amount of money they're going to have to spend to replace you. And even though that makes sense on paper, they don't take account knowledge and training time. They don't give a fuck. Even if you've been there for however, God knows how many years, it's going to come down to how much you make per month. And they will lay you off based on that, and then just silently absorb those costs and not ever consider that, just because knowledge can't be quantified.
Nope.
Never expect a company to make sense. Ever.
That's so scary. I want to be a kid again.
I want to be a kid again.
And
going to McDonald's.
In terms of staying sane...
Yeah, I was going to go right into that, cabin fever and insanity, because I do have some anecdotes related. And I'm sure you do too, because you're just like sitting at home all day on your shorts.
Well, no, I'm actually working most of the time.
Yeah.
But like we've both been laid off, but I've been talking a lot. You lead into this. Chris, how do you stay sane when you've been laid off and you're looking for something?
You gotta work out. You gotta get laid. You gotta drink hard. It's
some of the worst advice.
The first two were good.
No, the first two were great.
And the third was the best.
Brian fucking knows.
It happened to me one time where I wasn't laid off. I actually was hired on to do a very large freelance project for 18 months. And around the same time, my roommate moved out, so I had a place to myself. And it was coming into winter time, so it's cold. I'm not going out. You die out there. And I was, there was a point when I got in pretty deep into that where I was feeling the effects of just getting up. Like literally, I would roll out of bed in my computer, just work on the game art all day, and just roll into bed and go to sleep. Not literally roll, but because I put the office stuff in a different room, so I actually had to get up.
Yeah,
but actually, that's really important.
That's a good idea.
One thing I wanted to throw in.
Oh yeah, that's very true.
Putting your office in a different space from where you relax and have leisure is a huge thing. Otherwise, the office follows you wherever the fuck you are.
Well,
I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. I have like 600 square feet, something. The bedroom is my office. Like my computer desk, all my equipment, absolutely everything is in my bedroom. My bed is in my living room. That is how I live, because my bedroom, which I call my office, is my workspace. When I'm in that space, all I do is work. I don't fuck around. I don't watch movies. I don't watch porn. Just whatever the fuck. That does not happen in my office, because I'm a fucking professional. This is my working space.
Snap.
This is where that needs to happen. When I'm in the living room, that I can watch movies, watch porn, just do whatever the fuck I want. That's leisure time. But the office should be a separate space.
It's
a sacred space.
It's a temple
where you only work. You need to maintain that discipline. There's a separate space in which you work. Otherwise, your entire home is where you work. You never feel like you have time off, and you'll go fucking crazy. I swear to God, this is absolutely the truth.
It happens. So I'm telling you, man, I was feeling the same way. There was a day where I kind of freaked out and was talking to one of my the guy that was kind of running the project, and I was like, dude, I need my money now. Like, because it was a total payment, like a sum for the contract, but it was broken up into smaller payments because it's a pretty large amount of money. It's a couple years of work, and I was just like, I just freaked out one day. I was like, I need my money now. I have to have it now, or I'm gonna go crazy. We had this long talk, and then after we just talked for a while, I was just going crazy. It just kind of happened, and then after that, I started going out with my friends more often, and just going out to clubs or bars or wherever, anywhere, dinner helps.
That's what keeps you sane.
And just, getting out with people more. Because I was like, you know what? It's just all I really want to do is talk to somebody or listen to somebody. Just kind of have human interaction. God, it helps. Yeah. That's like doing this podcast has helped so much. I'm sure everybody.
With what you were saying, John, I don't disagree at all. But I think one of the main things that you didn't mention was, because you were mentioning that you should have your office as your special place. But I think the main thing that we missed out on is your bedroom should literally just be where you sleep. You're not supposed to do anything else in your bedroom besides masturbate, sex, and sleep. And
get dressed.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously. But I mean, like, you don't defecate in there or anything. It's just, that's that room.
Yeah.
It's the room
like,
to sleep. It's the bed.
Just imagine how fat you would get if you had your computer in your kitchen.
Yeah.
But you would get in totally awesome shape if your computer was in your weight room.
There's some pretty cool designs like that, where the standing desks, the standing desks, or the treadmill desks, or the bike desk. Yeah,
that's funny.
And Brian, I completely, fully, totally agree.
Whoa, that's a lot of agreeing.
No, you're absolutely right. Just like have a different space for working.
Yeah.
Just even if it's just if you're working on one side of the room in your apartment, or if it's only out of a coffee shop, have that be your workspace.
Sure.
Have that be the only place.
It's cool to have like different spaces for every little thing. I mean, I like to keep my bedroom like zen. In my bedroom, there's nothing in it but a mattress on the floor, and I guess there's a TV, but the DVD player doesn't work, so I don't use it. But everything else, I mean, I got my little lamp and my alarm clock. That is it. It's just the zen bedroom. It's just like no distractions. Go to sleep.
That's perfect. It's a sacred space.
Yes.
And it will preserve your sanity. Just trust me, based on experience, if you work all over your apartment, you're going to feel like you're always at work.
Yeah. And why cramp yourself in one corner like a little hamster?
Exactly.
Towards the end,
I'm hardcore. I turn my bedroom into my office, and I sleep in my fucking living room. And that is an extreme example. But
I do that a lot too. I sleep here on the couch just because we'll turn on a podcast or some music and sleep too. And it gets warmer in here. In the wintertime, my bedroom doesn't warm up as nice.
Yeah, I'm just
totally pointless.
Separate, sacred spaces.
Towards the end of college, when I was really crunching, because I ended up getting my job my last quarter of college, so I was working full time.
Suck at other students that have to graduate.
Well, I'm not bragging or anything.
I've known a few guys that did that, and it's cool.
I
knew some guys that are like, I should wait till I graduate. I'm like, no, take it now, and you can finish it. They'll let you just take the fucking job, do it now, no matter where you're at in life. And someone says, "Hey, you want a job? Take it."
And it's gonna be a bitch until you graduate.
Yeah, it's gonna suck. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be rough on you, but it is gonna elevate you so much more. Experience is
you're
bigger.
Fucking awesome for doing it.
Yeah, thanks, man. But basically, what I was doing is it was like literally all day at a computer. I remember falling asleep at work a few times.
I fall asleep at work sometimes. I just put my head down and go for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, but I don't condone that. It's just one of those things that tends to happen when you're going to work and school for full time. And one thing that kept me sane while I was working on my demo reel to try to graduate was some sort of living thing being around me. It doesn't necessarily have to be another human, but like
Fish.
my thing was a dog. My girlfriend's dog was with me all the time.
Dag.
And that was really nice. And he wasn't like an annoying puppy. He was a dog.
It was like a cat in your lap.
There. Yeah, a cat. One thing that really helped was a fish. Like just having
a
a fish.
beta in a jar.
Well, yeah, it was just sitting right next to my desk, so I'd look over and it'd remind me that there's life out there. Maybe listening to like some sort of talk radio or some sort of podcast, CrunchCast, to remind you that there's people out there. But I was thinking like I never did this, but I should have had a plant or something, like anything that you have to take care of.
A jungle.
A whole jungle in your office. Anything that you have to take care of, like a pet Rocky.
Well, it's living. It's a living essence.
Yeah.
You actually feed off each other. I mean, obviously, people have heard that words like a simple touch or words actually help plants grow.
Yeah.
Like positive energy towards a plant helps a plant positively. So it works back and forth. This whole life force energy.
It's a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian, like seriously, I could not possibly agree more. when I start up, I have 2 cats, and I was living with a girl that had a dog, a horrible little dog that I half hated, half loved. But when I was freelancing from home, I'd work maybe 16 hours a day. The best moments of my day were when I took that dog out for a walk. I'd say, okay, fuck this. If I don't get this done in the next half hour, it's not going to end the fucking world. I'm taking this dog on a walk. I'd walk through the neighborhood. I'd run with him. I'd just have an absolute blast. And my entire world was that little dog and making him happy.
Hey, get you outside, too.
He responded to me.
Yeah.
And that kept me sane. That is so important. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah, if you find yourself talking to your plant or your pet rock, though, I would probably suggest to moving on to something.
Talk to it all you want.
Yeah.
Now the problem is when it starts talking back.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
Yes,
I talk to things all the time. I'm all like, "Hey, how you doing, desk? Oh, you sure I could use like a new finish?" But I still respect you, even though you're very heavy and difficult to move, because you have nice drawers and a lot of space for me to draw on.
And see, Chris, also you have this awesome, anal dildo full of goldfish.
Anal dildo full of goldfish.
And I know it's been very important to you in keeping you
I wonder
sane.
if I could find one of those. We went to this store yesterday. We went to get sushi with one of my buddies. He's leaving town next week he goes to Mexico for like 3 weeks in the winter. He's like, I'm out, and he has a place.
Lucky.
And
is that anybody I know?
You haven't met him, but I want to get him on this podcast for an episode about quality of life.
His first name is John too, so every time Chris says John, I have to figure out which one he's talking about.
That's why I didn't say his name was John, because it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, his name is Brian.
If it sounds awesome, it was me.
But no, anyway, I want to get him on the show for just a quality of life, because he's a guy. He's a little bit older. He's in his 50s, but I don't want to. He doesn't have the brain of a 20-year-old, because then he'd be a retarded person. But he has the enthusiasm for life of a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
He's just. I'm like, hey, you want to do something? He's like, fuck yeah, let's fucking go. Let's do it. Why not? I want to eat dinner. I want to spend money. I want to have the quality things in life. I want to get. Like, he had family that came out and visited for like a weekend. This dude took them like bungee jumping. They went whitewater rafting. They did downhill mountain biking and all kinds of other stuff. What did you do that weekend? I jacked off. He's a guy that just does things and lives his life, and I have so much respect for that. Like everything. You go to his house is awesome. He's like, oh, I'm gonna refurnish this thing because it's not cool enough, and it's like, and it's not that the guy is rich or anything. He just he gets by, but he just spends his money the right way, and he's just a smart guy that knows life better than anyone I know. Like most people are just like, my life is shitty, my clothes are garbage, I live in an apartment that I never go to, it's unfurnished and whatever, I suck. But he's like the total opposite of that. Like everything about him is awesome. He always looks great, always dresses nice, his house is awesome, he goes cool places and does cool things, and he's not like but he's still, like I said, he's in his 50s, so it's not like he's a young cool guy, he's just a dude that loves life, and it's awesome to have somebody like that in my life because it helps with that sanity too. He doesn't know anything about games. That's what's going to make the podcast so cool. He got a PS3 for the Blu-ray player. He downloaded one of those Ratchet and Clank games, and he's like, I don't know what to do. It's just like as soon as I hit start, he runs off the ledge. And that's all that happens. And so that's what he knows about video games, and to me that's cool. I can hang out with him all day because I don't have to listen to talk garbage about games, because if you're a game developer and we hang out, we're going to talk about technical stuff about games. If you're a gamer, you're going to talk about nerdy crap about games, and if you're a dumb gamer, then you're going to talk about all kinds of stupid shit that isn't even close to accurate, like Tiger Woods on PS2 is better than graphics on Xbox because it's better, or something like, say something that doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? Like something that doesn't even like antiquate to any kind of question that you can go, yeah. I tell you what, it's...
Dude, I love to hear that guy. Especially instead of that Jesse asshole. Fuck him.
Yeah, dude. Fucking skanker, dude.
He's not here. Let's blame it on him.
Dude.
But no, it's, the people I'm talking about there, it's like the line at a GameStop. First of all, if you're dumb enough to still shop at GameStop, then obviously you hate the video game industry. But generally, if you just go in there, and if you can stand the smell of stinky children and old pizza, then just stand near people and listen to what they talk about, because your mind will be blown by these concepts. The things that you think are important in game development, no one knows anything about, except for you and this small group of people that also make games. Everybody else is just like, I don't even know what they're saying. I haven't been to a GameStop in years.
Yeah. But anyways, we went to eat sushi with John the other night, and then
delicious.
Afterwards, we went across the street to the Crypt, which is like a dirty, naughty, but a naughty shop.
It's an adult store.
Yeah.
Up front, they have all these clothes, and some of the clothes look clearly like kind of lingerie,
they have awesome
stuff like
belts.
that. But they also have just full, like, regular clothes, like jeans and shirts that are awesome clothes. So it's a cool place.
We went there, right?
Yes, we did. And you didn't you? I don't know. You were looking at something, and you're like, "Oh, I should get this for my girlfriend or something." But
I think it was like the one of the things where you just like squish your penis flat.
Oh yeah, one of those things. Yeah, the you screw down. Yeah, no, the store isn't.
That's what I forgot about.
The one thing about the Crypt is that the Crypt is not a schemy place, and make sure you go to the right one. There's two. There's one on one side of the street, and there's one on the other side of the street. If you're following the one way, you go to the one on the left. The one on the right, which you cannot see into because it's covered, is one of those dirty places. But the one on the left is like, it's super clean, well lit, spaced out store, lots of room. Everything is like clean and nice, super professional. But it's just sex toys.
Yeah. And the guy was really
and
helpful.
The people that work this staff is usually very well educated on their products.
And I'm kind of an open person, so I kind of just walk.
Yeah, you just like right in there, like, hey, I like to put my penis in this thing. What do you suggest?
Yeah, exactly.
This place is so cool, man.
Yeah,
it is really awesome.
Like, seriously, like half the clothes that they sell there, I would absolutely wear. Like, especially
they're awesome clothes. I want to go there and just buy clothes because they're awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, I bought some lube. That's all I
usually just get mine at the grocery store, but I don't need that fancy stuff.
Yeah.
Just spit on it.
No, but the guy was really awesome. So, really helpful. And like I said, I'm kind of an open person, so I was just talking everything.
Well,
everything.
It's the internet generation, man. Everybody's open about a lot more things these days. I remember growing up, you're like, there's like some of the prudish things, like a girl would never tell you her weight or birthday because you don't want to know how old she is, or you think she's fat because of an arbitrary number that means nothing.
Yeah.
But and when the internet comes along, you got this dude just everybody's seeing Goatsy.
Yeah.
So if something offends you. The guy they talked about, damn it. I just caught myself. This is something they talked about on the Rogan podcast today. But they were talking about the fact that if something on the internet offends you, or something that someone would talk about, like shitting your pants, if that still offends you, then you've never even been on the internet. Because no one on the internet is offended anymore. People are being very open about this stuff, and it's really good because, I mean, when I've traveled around a little bit in the last year, especially like when we got to go to Europe. Brian didn't get to go, but I went, and it was awesome. It was the best thing that ever happened in my whole life. No, but the way people act is they seem a bit more open about just generally like actual things you would talk about. And I'm starting to see it a lot more here, and I really think a lot of that has to do with the internet. People are like, if you just go into Google and hit the wrong button, you're seeing the most awful thing ever. If you go to like Space Ghetto, you're seeing the most horrible thing all day long. And people got into like all these. We're so accustomed to the news being so censored here. You go on the internet, they got the videos of everything, no blurs, no bleeps. You can just see videos of people dying all day, all kinds of depraved porn. And that's, it's kind of a good thing because it allows us to talk about even the basic things that you always do all the time that people might think are disgusting, like, I shit my pants, or I like to masturbate. Like, these things are becoming more open topics because...
Which is good because it's all natural anyways.
Well, it's natural, but it's a proper way of thinking. It's a new form of consciousness. You can't think that normal things that normal people do during their daily lives are horrible things when there's famine and people dying in the world.
Yeah.
Like, none of that stuff should be an offensive topic. People should be, like, screaming in the streets and going crazy that there is, like, genocide or people dying because they can't have food or medical attention. That should be things that people should be like, why can't people just, why can't we work together and make a community and have everything work out? Obviously, there's so many, like, there's a lot of people that are fuck-ups and you can't help everybody and some, whatever. But it's the mentality of simple things offending people when there's so many bigger problems in the world. It's ridiculous.
It is.
Why did I start talking about this?
We were talking about lube.
Yeah, if you're offended by the fact that Brian bought lube, then wake the fuck up. Like, how did you even get here?
It was my first time.
It was his first time. Brian never bought lube before.
Yeah.
He was always like, I just keep getting these scabs on my penis. I'm like, have you ever used lube? And he goes, what's that? And I'm like, you ever spilled?
Can I just clarify that?
None of this is true. I just like to act as though everything Brian has seen is like the first time.
If it was true,
it would be an
know.
awesome story.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be so cool? It was like that time when you were like, I should use a rag in the shower to scrub. And I was like, yeah, dude. And the next day, Brian smelled nice. He looked nice. He lost his tan that he thought was a tan. It was actually just dirt.
Yeah. This is true. This is all true.
Speaking of watching two guys beat a dude to death with a hammer.
Dude.
Oh my god.
Surviving layoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, come on now, bro. Yeah, let's survive that layoff. Hey, again, here's one thing I might have said before, and I don't always say it again. Save your money. Save as much as you can.
Be nice to your parents.
Yeah, live with them. If you can live with your parents, just do it. There's nothing wrong with that. Who cares? You still live with your parents, you loser? That guy is an idiot. If you live with your parents, you're saving money. And that's community. You know what people in tribes do? They all live in the same hut. You know why? Because there's an animal that is out there at night that will kill them. Because all they got sticks and rocks.
Oh, Daddy.
Do you think
Daddy killed his spider?
Yeah, the whole idea that you live with your parents would even never come to their mind. They'd be like, "What? We all live together here. We work together. That's how we survive. If somebody isn't, working hard, we die."
Yeah.
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 It's like, come the fuck on. Yeah, be in a community, but
help your parents out if you're living
help your
with
parents
them.
out if you can.
Yeah.
They invested in you. Invest in them.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to say related to dealing with layoffs is something I have always done. So I started out in the industry. I made $30K a year.
Wait a second. Wait. John just said, since he started in the industry, you started by making $30K a year. All your audio went when you tried to say that.
Well,
but anyway, I was just reiterating it. So go ahead.
So I made $36K a year when I started in the industry.
You made $36K a year when you started.
Okay.
And I learned to live off of that. Every job I got past that, I found out so paycheckcity.com will tell you how much you're going to net in any state. If you use their paycheck calculator, absolutely use that. Something that kept me in a really good place is I learned how to live off $36K a year. Every time I got a raise, I learned how much I would net, and I would set up direct deposit to go, so anything above my net.
And what was that site again?
Paycheck City.
Okay. You told me this a long time ago, and I went here and used it. I've used it plenty of times.
And so I found out with every subsequent job that I would make more money. But I've more than tripled what I made when I started in the industry. But
Easily.
every raise I've made beyond that, I have set up my direct deposit to deposit the difference into a savings account directly.
Oh, wow.
So I've learned how to live off that little, and everything else I've ever made above and beyond that goes straight into a checking account. I never see it. I never think about it. And just every 2 weeks, it adds up, and it just it deposits straight in my checking account. And I've learned to live on very little money, and I pocket absolutely fucking everything else.
That's kind of the way I do, man. Exactly that.
Yeah, never let your tastes become so sophisticated that you can't maintain it if you switch jobs. If you start out humble and learn how to live humble, save the rest and make that a habit from day fucking one. Never break that habit. Never stray from that habit. Make every single fucking penny you make go into either a 401k, an IRA, or your savings account from your first job. Never learn to live off of more than that. You can dip into that for special things if you need to, but learn to live humbly. You'll have massive, massive fucking savings, and you'll be a lot happier as a human being. Just start that habit early and never fucking break it. That is the most important thing I can tell anybody working in games.
It always I'll check my my balance every now and again, and it always makes me feel better to see that number higher all the time.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm not fucking up and having to spend a lot of money on whatever, it usually maintains its increase. And it always feels really good to just check it and be like, oh, nice.
Yeah.
And, years ago when I was younger, I set these goals. And these goals were stupid goals. They don't even make any sense. But I've kept those financial goals of how much money I wanted to have saved at certain ages in my life. I'm 32 now, but I'll be 33 a month from now. Yeah. Actually, what day is today?
The 15th.
No, it's the 14th.
It's not past midnight yet?
Not yet past midnight yet. But by the time you watch this, it'll be the 15th. And 1 month from that, January 15th, which is my birthday, it doesn't matter. I'll be 33. But I had a goal for once I reached 30 to have a certain amount of money saved, and I was pretty far past that. So I feel good about that. And again, it's not a great goal. It's actually not any money at all, but it's enough money to live. Mm-hmm. And that's what's important. And it makes me feel good. And as long as I set this small goal and reach that small goal, I feel better.
Yeah.
And see, the best goal you can aim for is to have 6 months of living expenses saved up at any given time. Especially if you're employed, plan on being laid off and save up.
Yeah, the sabbatical is great.
Yeah, plan on being laid off and save up to match that. There's absolutely no such fucking thing as job security. Such a thing does not exist. You can be paid, you can be employed and paid for a longer amount of time than you've been before, but there's no such fucking thing as job security, so always plan for being laid off at any single fucking second and save and plan for that.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty happy that happy, lucky, blessed, all that crap. Just last month I celebrated my 2-year anniversary at Illfonic. And it's a startup company, so
that's fucking awesome. Hey, I'll be right back.
Where are you going?
I have to pee really bad. I'm going to evacuate everything.
Well, I'll tell you what. We've already reached the 90-minute mark. So unless we could keep going on this, but if you feel like you could wrap up, we can wrap up. If you want to keep going, we can keep going. Just let me know.
I think we should keep going.
Okay, that's fine. I'm good for that because I'm feeling good.
I want to touch on the freelancing stuff a bit because I think it's valuable.
Absolutely. So yeah, do your thing.
I'm going to evacuate.
Pull out your thing and do your thing.
My body.
And when we get back, we'll get back.
That sounds good. I'll be right back.
Cool.
So yeah, that was a good general coverage of how you should spend your money and save for life and all that fun jazz.
All that jazz. Yeah. I'll tell you how it is. Hey, I gotta do a quick tribute. I meant to put this on Facebook or YouTube or something like that, but
G+.
This is a tribute to a bolt. And here I'm holding up the bolt now, so all you on the MP3 can't enjoy the fabulousness that is this one less than 1 inch long screw. It's broken in my hand. The tribute to this bolt is this bolt was used to hold my handlebars in place on my bike, which can be seen behind me if you're not watching the MP3. Watching the MP3. And just this week,
And I'm back.
I gotta finish this tribute up. So the bolt broke, and it is unfortunate because then I had to get another bolt. But that was easy. The lady at the bike store gave me one. But why does this bolt deserve tribute? I'll tell you why. Over 190 days of biking. Over 1,100 miles. And I bought the bike used. Who knows how long it lasts before me? So,
look at me. I bike to work. I'm so cool.
So yeah, I bike to work. I'm so cool. Unlike you who do not, so you are not cool. But no, I just wanted to give it up for an inanimate object for giving me over 1,100 miles of service. Thank you, Bolt.
May you rest in peace.
May you rest in my drawer. And possibly get a picture on my Facebook. Oh, glory be. And when I think about that, it's kind of a humorous thing. I think back to that episode of The Simpsons where Homer went to space. And the employee of the month was the inanimate carbon rod. And it made him so mad. And and in the end, he ended up... the door on the spaceship opened up and he ended up stopping it by putting an inanimate carbon rod in to stop the door from opening. And they gave a parade at the end to the inanimate carbon rod. So that's why I wanted to give a tribute to a broken bolt. It's like, hey, everything's got life energy, bro. Everything's got energy. If you don't respect the things around you, they don't respect you, and that's why it broke, I guess.
One of my ex-girlfriends made fun of me because I was talking to a dog.
What?
I was like,
bitch.
what? Yeah, I know.
You should have just looked at her like this. And then went back to talking to that dog.
Yeah.
And never talked to her ever again.
Because I'm giving out positive signals, sending out my
Oh,
brain
talk to a
waves.
dog. I talk to a dog
Good
all day.
vibe, good vibration.
Dog's just looking at you like...
He's just sitting there getting his belly.
All he
scratched.
hears is blah, 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 Spike, blah, 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 Spike, because his name is Spike in this story. I wasn't sure if I should go with Spike or Spot.
Either one's good. There's so many good male dog names out there.
Butch.
Spud.
Spud.
Dewey.
Dewey.
I'm gonna name my dog Dewey.
Dewey.
Oh shit, people are gonna steal that now.
We used to have a dog named Butch.
Butch.
'Cause he was a boxer. It's a good name for a boxer,
Yeah,
dude.
good name for a boxer.
He was a male boxer, of course. You wouldn't name a female boxer Butch.
Well,
And this was way before Pulp Fiction, so I was a kid, so yeah.
So, yeah, next.
John, yeah, you said you had much more to talk about on this free pants thing.
Yes. So the Polycount thread. Could you pull that up and look at those questions?
Me?
Yeah.
You want me to look at it or link it to you?
I want you to look at it and read it to me.
Read what to you?
The Polycount thread. The questions about freelancing. I said I would answer them. I'm going to honor that.
Oh, jeez. The ones... Oh, wait. Walrus. I'll answer your question about freelancing on the next cast. Okay, that one?
Yep, that one.
Walrus.
Good guess.
Walrus. env-art.com. Let's click on that and see what happens real fast. Page not found. Oh, because his setup, it went to the wrong place. Oh yeah, everything's real blurry. Yep, that's what you get. Okay. What?
Look at the dude's post.
I'm reading the post.
It's a really good question.
You gotta wait. I'm done talking. No, I really like Walrus's avatar. It's funny. It's like a walrus licking wine out of a glass or some kind of possibly just grape juice. But it's a funny avatar. Let me see if I can find the thread here.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, you sound great.
Wonderful.
Okay, you're
Scrumptious.
you sound very audio, like pixelated audio wise. I want to
Okay.
make sure that I'm than my beautiful voice.
You want to do a recall real quick? Well, I can't read the question to you if you're. Never mind. You want to recall real quick?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna.
Bye, John. Love you.
Supply with a fucking knife to back to blah.
What?
I keep reading the text. I gotta hit answer.
Oh, here he is.
I think I clicked. Oh wait, there it is. Bum 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 bum.
Am I heard?
There you are, and you got the visuals too. Okay, so let me just read this really quick to you. I think I found where the actual question is. Great. Well, I'd like to chaps freelance, see particulars, details, bit. Is it possible to? Okay, some of the peculiarities and pitfalls of the freelance biz. Is it possible to survive or even thrive in that kind of environment? That's the first question. Is it possible to thrive and survive? From there, he asks, what should a freelance contract look like? Oh, God. John's going to get a whole show for this.
Oh, no.
This show's going forever, all night. Okay, what should it look like, and how can we insulate ourselves from risk? Boy, this guy knows how to write.
Those are good fucking questions.
Too bad all his portfolio is art. It's just blurry pictures. I said it. Now what? Should we always demand half the fee in advance or just a retainer? And I think what he meant to type there was half the fee in advance. Yeah, after I just complimented on how well he can write. Is it even possible or feasible to try to enforce a contract over international boundaries? That's a good one. How can we discern a trustworthy employer? Do you have any horror stories? And what are experiences of freelance work in your professional histories?
How many questions?
What are the best places to look for work? How much should you charge for work?
Is this all one guy? Or is this
That's all one paragraph.
Those are awesome questions.
That's like a whole show.
No answer whatsoever for any of them. Sorry.
All right. Thanks for joining us. The end.
Sorry.
No, did you get all that, or just do you want me to like whatever? What do you need to know? Where do you need to go?
So what's the very first question?
All right. The very first started with. I feel like we may have kind of answered this in Australia. That's gonna piss off everybody from there, my listeners. But
I thought it was Welsh.
Welsh is my because fuck the Welsh. That's from Austin Powers, remember?
Oh man, I don't take any part in any of this. Okay,
That's what that whole movie is about.
Anyways, first question.
Is it possible to survive and even thrive in that kind of environment, referring to a freelance environment? Like, okay, you're just doing freelance, right? Oh, the cool thing about John is he totally froze on a sweet smile. Look at how beautiful he is. Oh, yeah.
I'm a beautiful man.
Can't help it. Look, when someone's like, wow, you're tall. I'm like, I can't help it. Stop making fun of me. And I run away, crying.
So is it possible to thrive or even survive or even thrive? Absolutely.
Yeah, as just a freelancer, I guess.
Yes. Honestly, you have to
be the boss.
You really have to be above like a 70 to 80% like absolute best quality level to survive and thrive as a freelancer. But even more important than that is you have to network the fuck out of everything. If you're not on LinkedIn, get the fuck on LinkedIn. Fill it out and treat it as though it's as important as your portfolio, which is just as important as that. Like, fill out LinkedIn, have a great portfolio, and network. Go to CG Talk, go to Polycount, go to CG Chat, go to GameDev.net, go to every single fucking place possible, and talk to everybody, listen to everybody, be a part of those communities, and be fucking ubiquitous. Because the only way to survive and thrive is to network your ass off. Even if you're the best artist in the world, if you only talk to a limited number of people, you will never fucking survive. Network, learn to network, learn to love it. If you have any social preconceptions against it or resistance against it, network your fucking ass off. And that is the main way to succeed. Be there, be ubiquitous, be constantly following up. If you don't hear in a week, email again very politely. If you don't hear in another week, email again politely. Email every motherfucking week and be polite about it. Always email, always follow up, always talk to people. Don't be shy. Don't be bothered about don't be bothered about bugging them. If they feel like you're bugging them, fuck them. They're assholes. Always be there. Always be in their presence. Always be nice. Always be polite. Have great work, and always be presenting that to them. And just don't be a dick about it. Just be... There's a certain level of self-consciousness that you should have, but there's also, up to a certain point, you need to really be there and be ubiquitous, because the guy that's the most persistent is the guy that's going to get the job. What's the next question?
I was just going to add something to that really quick about the networking part. Every top freelance artist that I know, as in guys that are on, they just do freelance and that's how they survive. Those guys are on every single program that I have. Even if we don't even really know each other or chat that much, those guys salt me out on Facebook and everything. For example,
Facebook, G+, Twitter,
all that stuff, man, all that social media, man.
Yeah,
they're all on there. Just for example, Lonewolf, that guy that does all the guns, really awesome.
That guy is the best in the world. Oh my god, I love him.
Reno Levy, who apparently is a really handsome dude. I've never actually seen him, but according to Facebook, because he's constantly posting pictures of himself, and his long hair and his big arms.
Is that Ilya Nadal?
Huh?
Levy.
Ilya Nadal, is that right?
What? None of those words you just said made sense.
Ilya Nadal, is that his name?
According to Facebook, it says Reno Lonewolf Levy. Levi?
I maybe think I think I'm thinking of another name, but I know exactly who you're talking about, and he is the fucking man. Oh my god.
Yeah, like I said, he always posts. Let me show you what this guy looks like. It's this guy right here.
Okay, wow. Yeah,
he's got the long hair and the beard and the fucking muscly arms and shit. If you go on his Facebook, every other picture is just either him showing off guns and stuff he's worked on, or him just showing off his awesome arms, and apparently a bunch of cats, because that's what Facebook is all about, is cats.
Did he work on Modern Warfare 3?
Maybe. I don't really know everything he's worked on, but he is, as far as I know, he's always been one of the best dudes at guns. That dude can just...
Yes.
Every time he posts guns, it's just damn, bro. Guns is awesome. So
if I was in a studio level position, I would hire that motherfucker at any cost.
Right.
No matter the fuck what. He is so goddamn good. It is obscene. And this is something we should link to in this podcast.
What, his portfolio?
Wolf is so fucking good. It is.
I'll see if I can dig up his portfolio. I know I've got it bookmarked at home. I could probably find it here pretty quick. But no, the reason I was just saying him is just because he's the one that I just... Like I said, it's not like we're good pals or anything. We don't hang out. I don't even know if I've ever met him. But I know him and respect him, and he puts himself in front of me by, friending me up on Facebook, and I totally accept it because I know him is awesome, and anybody that I know is an awesome artist, I'm like, yes, let's pal up because you're awesome, and I might need you someday because I'm in the position to hire people for stuff like that. Maybe.
And Facebook is important.
It's super awesome. You can keep up with people's art. It's so nice that way.
Yeah, and see, that's...
And I can keep up with your cats and your art.
Using social media is amazing. And something I was saying in the last podcast, if you link to other people or you're friends with other people that do amazing artwork, even if your artwork isn't the best, as long as you're connected to other people that do great artwork, I will find them, and internally I will think of you as a great resource for finding other artists until I find something that is perfect for you to work on. So network, add everybody, talk to everybody. Just seriously, just talk to everybody. Be social, be open. The guy in high school, the guy that sits in the corner and never talks to anybody, which was me, is a piece of shit that will never go anywhere.
Ew.
It's as you start learning to talk to people, to interact with people, to socialize with people, to network, to basically just increase the quality of the people around you on these social networks, and share work with them. They crit your work, you crit their work. and go back and forth. The more you do that, the better you'll be. One of the biggest tenets of my life that I believe in absolutely, fully, truly, deeply is you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
It's true.
And if most of your time is spent with 5 ultra god level badass artists, or even 4 or even 3, you're going to be badass. That's going to be the focus of your life, and you will become great.
Yes. Brian's like, I got to get out of here. By the way, his nickname is Lone Wolf, but Lone Wolf 3D, as in the number 3 and the letter D.com is his portfolio. And again, I got that link saved already, and it's just crazy, awesome, ridiculous guns that are awesome.
God dang.
They do not come better.
I've seen his portfolio before.
The man.
He updated it with his new guns. That's cool.
One of my dreams as an outsourcing manager is to work with him.
One of your dreams.
One of my dreams. I want to work with him.
And who's your
awesome.
homie? Benoit Regimbal.
He goes by Bill
B1LL. That's another freelance artist. That's all he does is freelance, right?
Yep. And
he's pretty damn successful, right? He's not homeless.
Yes. He is the best freelance artist I've ever worked with in my entire fucking life. He can do anything anybody else can do in like a week to 2 weeks, he can do in 2 to 4 days.
Wow. He's pretty awesome.
He is faster, he is more professional, he makes shit happen, and he always does it reliably and on time.
Oh, wait a second.
He's been late with anything he's ever done. He's been freelancing for over 10 years.
I just noticed something.
He is the absolute fucking god king of freelance art.
I think this is really important.
Entire career, he is the apex. He
Can't talk over John.
He is the god of freelance art.
Bill told me once that he did amateur bodybuilding.
Yep.
And it's pretty clear that Lone Wolf there, based on his Facebook photos, he's kind of interested in bodybuilding. Because the dude is in some kind of shape and posts his workout pics, and he's pretty thick. Does that mean that to be a truly successful freelance artist, you've got to, work out?
I hope not. I'm fat.
Well, you're a manager.
But so Benoit, he sent me a video once of him. So he bought a house in the middle of absolutely nowhere, and all he did was either make art or box with this with a fucking not a speed bag, it's a punching bag. But the core of this punching bag was a goddamn lumber tree. Whoa. It was pure. It was a fucking tree with a 300-pound cement base. And he sent me a video once of him punching the shit out of this base and knocking it all the fucking way across his deck. It was like he is like free hand, bare hand. He is punching the fuck out of this thing and knocking it across his deck and making his goddamn camera shake. It's a 300-pound base, and he's punching it into fucking corners.
Sounds like fun.
This guy could turn a guy's face into fucking hamburger helper.
We need a punching bag.
A big heavy bag?
Yeah.
They're fun to pick up and carry around too.
Yeah.
Dude,
That's cool.
He could sneeze and turn both of you into fucking jelly.
Oh, I don't know. Both of us?
He's so
maybe some regular guys, but I don't know about us.
That means one nostril could turn one guy into jelly.
But to be fair, he is Canadian, and
they're all a little tougher because it's colder.
But back to the freelancer question. Sorry,
one of the questions was about should they demand money up front or a retainer or anything like that? How can they really do to protect themselves from risk as a freelance artist?
I've never dealt with the people that demand money up front, and honestly, I never would.
Fair enough.
Just period. No one ever does that amount of shit up front for free. But smart freelancers parcel out the work in such a way that they're paid for their first milestone after 2 weeks, and then every 2 weeks after that.
Oh, a milestone format.
They get money, and they get money on a regular schedule, no matter what the the length of the contract is. Like, I contracted the guy for 3 months once. It was amazing. Even though it was a 3-month-long contract, because the payable date was less than 2 weeks, or was more than 2 weeks, he lost motivation. Even though there was a large amount of money at stake, he would not deal with it. So smart artists parcel out the work in such a way that they're invoiceable every 2 weeks, no matter what. Money up front, extremely unlikely, very risky. If a studio is really, really leaning on you, if they really want to see what you're able to do, push for doing a single paid asset or a single, short term of work for a certain amount of money to see if they're willing to work with you. Paid, absolutely paid. A single, 2 week or whatever, however long term of work with you for a certain amount of money to see if that's a worthwhile deal for you, and then renew that and keep working with that. But money up front, honestly, for me, no, absolutely not. I'm contacting you because I think you can do work up to a certain level. If I want to see the level of work of which you're capable, and I want to create production art for it, I'll create a very, very small contract for you to do work in that amount of time. I really urge people against doing free work as much as that would benefit me personally for future contracts. I don't feel comfortable entering into that. I think anything you do should be paid for.
Yeah.
I remember I worked a few before in a project where it was like, I just want to have some fun. Let's do something for fun. And you gave me something that was pretty easy, but you still treated me well and paid me more than I thought I'd get paid. So that was cool.
Which is kind of rare. I've had to get really dicky with people about paying me for shit. Even for a fucking $800 contract, the guy was trying not to pay me because he was saying, "Oh, well, sorry, I didn't talk to you for 2 months." But I decided not to use that.
That kind of goes right into that next part of the question about enforcing a contract. Is it even possible or feasible over an international boundary? And obviously, I have myself worked with more.
Well, to be honest, I've never dealt over an international boundary for having to enforce a contract, but that $800 I did get because I negotiated in my contract a particular clause. Anybody that emails me, I will email you my contract that I deal with, that I use to deal with my clients. That accounts for two things. One, whenever feedback is received, contractually you're obligated to turn that around within 2 days, which is kind of flexible based on the amount, like the level of which they expect the work to be. If you're like 90% along on like a really, like a high-res sculpt or whatever, if they ask you for feedback and it's going to take 3 to 5 days, you're going to tell them that they're going to be flexible with that. But contractually, you have to turn that around within 2 days. They feel good about that. They're going to be flexible with it, and you turn that around, and they're going to be happy because all they want is the art. But contrary-wise, in my contracts, I negotiate to say within 5 to 10 days, if you've not sent me feedback or given me approval or disapproval or additional feedback on a particular thing, legally speaking, I send you an email saying, okay, it's been 10 days, you've not approved this. You have another additional 5 days to respond to this. If you don't respond to this within 5 days, it is invoiceable. I can be paid for this. If that doesn't happen within the 15 days or 10 days or whatever that for which I negotiate, then I can invoice for that. You can't you can't fuck me over. You can't say, "Oh, sorry, you did all the work. I didn't talk to you for like 6 months. I'm not going to use it."
Right. You're talking about basically bullshit. Protecting yourself from somebody not getting back to you on feedback, which is, again, as a freelancer who's not getting a salary, the money that you're supposed to be paid on a certain amount of time based on your doing your work shouldn't be affected by the employer or contractor not getting back to you so that you don't get paid.
Exactly. I personally lost $50,000 to not having that clause in my contract.
You just cost me $50,000.
So I put that to every single fucking contract now. So basically, so let's say if you don't give me feedback within 5 days, and I ask you for feedback, and it takes another 5 days for you to get back to me, and you don't say shit, then I invoice it, it's payable, and legally speaking, I can take you to court, and I can make you pay that fucking money.
There you go. It's not a bad thing, too, because you should always be getting back to people. And usually, I mean, when I was in any sort of outsourcing position, usually I would just, as soon as we get it, we're going right over that work. Because we're like, yay, new art! It's like Christmas.
Yeah.
But I can understand if you're in a different position where you're outsourcing a ton of stuff.
The problem is, a lot of the people that deal with outsourcing are the art directors or art managers that work internally. As soon as they get the art, in their mind, that is the end of the contract. Oh, we got art. Okay, I don't care when they get paid. Fuck them. It's not even as conscious as fuck them. It's like, okay, I get the art. Then
let's move on.
Other people deal with the details. No, in the contract, if you do not give me feedback within this exact allotted amount of time, I'm able to invoice for it, and then I will fucking get that money. Contractually, if you don't tell me in time, then I invoice for it and you fucking pay me. I've gotten dicked out of I would submit the final art, and then 2-3 months later, I'd email. They would not respond. I'd invoice for it. They said, "Oh, sorry, we never approved that. It's not going to be used," even though that's absolute fucking bullshit, and that is going to be used in the final product, because they got the art that they want after the feedback, and they just stopped fucking responding. They're trying not to pay for it because they're fucking assholes. Period. They're fucking assholes if they don't do that. They do not understand the way art studios are run. The reason I work that into my contracts, and the reason I encourage people to work that into their contracts as far as freelance goes, is to protect them against that. If they never hear another word, then they send the invoice, and then I'm like, okay, sorry, well, the contract said you're supposed to respond this amount of time, you didn't, so I get paid.
So you're talking about...
I got the money. I tested this, I got the fucking money.
Get that money.
They tried to fuck me.
Get paid, bro. It's like a rap video. Gangsta.
On the opposite end of the spectrum, John, do you have anything in your contract that states how many iterations? Is there a maximum number of iterations that you allow, or that's
an excellent question. That's an excellent question, and yes, I do.
Look at John doing politics there. Everything Brian asks, he goes, "That's an excellent question."
Hey, I don't.
Well, no, seriously, Brian's asking really fucking
Brian's
solid,
a young man,
sharp, smart questions.
Just got a wit about him that he can post on Twitter. Anyway, go ahead.
Brian is asking absolutely fucking gold questions.
These are the questions that people want to know.
Well, I'm kind of just curious because I wouldn't want to do more than it shouldn't take more than 3 iterations.
And it took Brian less than 140 characters to say that question too.
Oh yeah, that's very true.
What's important.
Yeah.
And so whenever I deal with a contract, I make it absolutely fucking clear that, okay, they spec out the contract. They say, okay, this is the work we want done. This is the complexity. Like, we want a quote. So they present a quote. And depending on where the art studio is or the artist is, they say, okay, this is how long it's going to take. And usually they will pad that for an extra couple, 2, 3, 4, 5 revisions.
Yeah, of course.
And I understand that. That's why costs increase, because smart studios, smart artists, smartists, if you will. That's what they take into account. So when they're dealing with a contract like that, they say, okay, well, it's they think, okay, it's gonna take me 10 man days to work with this. I'm going to quote them 15 or 12 or 14, whatever the fuck, because they expect revisions they're going to expect feedback. They're going to expect a couple of revisions in the meantime. Whenever I deal with whenever I deal with a studio, this is my basic approach. I tell them flat out, okay, the estimate you're going to get from the artist is going to be this. And implicit to that quote, there are going to be 2 absolutely 2 built-in revisions. I'm going to ask them every single fucking question that I think they will ever possibly ask based on my experience.
Yeah.
I'm going to understand the work inside and out. I'm going to understand exactly what that artist is going to get. I'm going to understand everything that could possibly go wrong, and I'm going to drill the fuck out of them on every single question, all their specs, all their documents. I'm going to nail that shit down, absolutely fucking bulletproof, airtight, and then tell them, okay, you have 2, in this estimate, you're going to have 2 revisions built in. Anything above and beyond that, if they do not meet those quality marks that you have expressed, that I've made you express, if in these parameters, you're going to pay above and beyond that. You're not going to get free revisions based on this estimate.
Oh, you point that out.
If you change your spec, you're going to you'll get 2 revisions. Anything above and beyond that, you're going to pay them for, because that is on you for changing your mind.
Yeah.
That's not their problem. That's absolutely not the artist's problem. That's not the studio's problem. That has absolutely nothing to do with them, and they are not your bitch. And I assign, specifically, in my mind, the absolute basic philosophy of it is, I will assign a dollar value, a dollar cost to you changing your mind. And my entire business is making them make up their mind before they ever even talk to the studio or the artist.
Yeah, that's good.
And anything above and beyond that, they fucking pay for. It's not, as you as a freelancer, that's not your fucking problem. And I protect you.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, pre-production is the most important, and it's often overlooked. I'm glad that you force them to tell you exactly what they want, because oftentimes, especially at our studio, we tend to have a problem with the lead not knowing exactly what he wants, which is great for us because we get artistic reign, but that's not always the case. So
I feel like this question was kind of answered, but how can you discern a trustworthy employer? And if you have any horror stories to go of that.
How can you discern a trustworthy employer? Honestly, whether or not they are willing to factor in additional revisions into their contract. But a lot of that depends on you.
Yeah, and as a freelancer, I feel like if you can find other people that have freelanced for them and then talk to them.
Yes.
That might help. And if there was a huge internet uproar about you not paying people and stuff, then probably you shouldn't do anything for those people.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, and see, in terms of internet uproar,
you got to be careful though.
I personally cannot do that, even though I'd like to, because my clients want to work with somebody that's not going to talk shit about them.
Yeah, you're not even going to do that. I'm talking about other people, not you. I'm talking about if a whole bunch of people just came out and said that this guy, he didn't pay anybody.
But behind the scenes, my entire business is developing a solid Rolodex. I want to know good clients. I want to know good vendors. And if I have a shitty client or a shitty vendor, I will never fucking work with them again.
Yeah.
Period.
Sometimes it's a disgruntled employee too, where it's a bunch of guys that just sucked and didn't get paid or were fired. So.
Yes. And no matter what, on both sides, I always ask the people working on it, how do you feel about working with them? Were they good to work with? Were they reasonable? Were they easily understood? Did they give you any problems? And that determines whether or not I'll work with these people again.
Yeah.
And revisions, honestly, really are the biggest thing. That's something you should absolutely negotiate for, otherwise you will get fucked to death. Seriously, revisions are the number one thing on which you will get fucked to death unless you negotiate for that in the contract. And if they have an issue with that, run.
Run.
Yeah.
Run. Get the fuck away from them. Do not do business with them. Because so many studios, okay, so like Blizzard-style studios think, okay, we can iterate on something forever. Absolutely forever. And internally, it's difficult to monetize the internal burn rate of the studio. Most people that are in charge of that don't think okay, well, I'm paying this guy, 4, 6, 8, $12,000 a month to work on this. They don't think in those terms. They only think in terms of time. When you're outsourcing work or working with a freelancer, it's easier to be able to monetize that kind of work. Like, okay, well, we're charging this amount of money for this person, and when they're comparing that against an internal employee, they're adding on overhead. So if a guy is making, let's say $80,000 a year, they're going to add 1.5 to 2 times that for the overhead, just amortized over the entire studio. So guys making 65, they were actually paying 90 for him internally, because all internal studio costs for all the material, like all the computers, the cost of internet, the cost of absolutely everything ever. They spread that over the entire population of the studio. They're working with an outsource, but that only a small number of people are privy to that level of enumeration. But when you're dealing with outsourced artists, they're able to monetize that and quantify that much more clearly. And so they're thinking, okay, we don't even know how much our internal artists are costing, but this is how much our external artists are costing, because that's so much fucking easier to apply a number to, because outsourcing budgets are separate from internal development budgets. But when you negotiate for that cost, they're going to be a lot more picky about how much they charge for you. But you need to add into that overall cost, like how many revisions are going to be required for this or that. And the studio culturally is used to just like redoing based on their whims. Like if you spend let's say 40 hours a week on something, and they pay you a flat rate for this or that, you only get paid for that flat rate. But if they change their mind and want 60, 80, 120, 160, 200 hours worth of work out of a single asset, then they're just going to fuck you to death unless you have something worked into your contract saying anything above this particular level of revisions or iterations I'm going to charge for. That's the kind of discipline you have to impose upon them. Honestly, most of the contracts and most of the jobs I've ever taken are me having to educate the people that work internally to assign a dollar value to the decisions that they make.
And that's why you're so pro at what you do.
Exactly, because I'm the only fucking person in the organization that is responsible for the most obvious, most visible budget. But if I'm able to monetize, like, okay, if you have 2 people that are working full time to correct this amount of artwork coming from an outsourcer, then you're losing this exact amount of money, and that's why you need to have some fucking production discipline, which is honestly a really good in for me professionally. That's not the kind of shit they monetize. They don't, you can outsource to China. You can pay $100 a day for really, really fucking shitty art, but you'll have all of your artists internally spending weeks and weeks and weeks working on it instead of other shit. That costs a massive amount of money because it's like one workload combining with another workload, and they can't do both of those at the same time all the time. I'm the guy that has to assign a dollar value to that. And something you need to protect yourself as a freelancer is to negotiate in revisions and to really push upon them, making your outsourcing spec really fucking bulletproof, really solid, to make it absolutely unequivocal, unquestionable. And anything above and beyond that, sorry dude, I'm charging for that because you changed your mind.
Yeah.
Because internally that costs, that on the face value, that costs them nothing. It's like, okay, well, you worked for 6 months on this, but we're changing this. That's going to cost 4 months on the schedule, and whatever. We're paying a flat rate for you per month. But if you're outsourcing that, that's going to add a massive amount of money to the budget, and somebody's going to have to fucking account for that on the end. But unless you have a person whose responsibility is to manage that, a part of all those art production meetings to basically tell them, okay, if you change this is going to cost like $400,000 and add 3 months to the schedule. Unless you have someone like that, then it's not going to make any kind of difference to them. It's going to make them freak out and hate outsourcing. Yeah. So honestly, I mean, outsourcing is not just like oh wow, we can save money doing this, we're just going to do this. The smarter you are as a contract artist, the smarter you are as an outsourcing studio at being able to plan for revisions and be really fucking honest and really fucking straightforward about what the dollar value consequences are for that, and having someone internally, the more out of control production can really get.
Yeah.
If you assign a dollar value consequence to someone saying, okay, well, you know, this entire area of the game is supposed to be elves, I decide it's going to be dwarves instead. That's going to be a fucking dollar amount. That's something you have to sell internally and tell people, okay, this is the fucking consequence. The more discipline that will place on them to making better decisions internally. Mm-hmm. In a weird way, as a freelancer, as an outsourced artist, as an outsourcing studio, you're going to be educating the people you work with, but you can't be overt about it. You can't be, you know, like, okay, well, you clearly don't know this, so you have to know this. You have to educate your clients to some extent in a very suave, subtle way to show them how development really fucking works. That was a really, really long answer.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
No, but, I mean, it's true. Fuck, I forgot all of my questions.
Don't worry about your questions because we're going so long.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna.
What is? Where are some of the best places to actually look for work, and what should you charge? And it's gonna wrap up the Walrus's questions. Thank God, because we're so deep. We're giving this dude an hour answer to his questions, and that's cool. I'm down.
Okay, so
it's because it's been a good show. It's been great for information. You better download the shit out of this.
Okay, so network on Polycount, CG Talk, CG Chat, GameDev.net. Get to know people, affiliate with their projects, and just ply your trade as much as humanly possible, and try and make friends with game developers through that, because people are still connected to the community through that. And what's the second part of the question?
Do you eat dicks? Or no? How much should we charge for work? And that's the kind of question that's tough to answer. But what is your political response to that?
Okay, based on pure experience, most art studios in China and India. Most art studios in China charge $150 to I'd say $140 per man per day.
What, 140? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the range, like per man per day. But honestly, everything is based on a man day rate. Even if it's baked down to a per asset cost, it's always based on
a man day rate, as opposed to a single asset being like, I'll give you $100 for this.
Exactly. Everything is based on the man day rate times the number of days it's going to take them.
I knew a guy. I know a guy. He's a good guy, and he's like kind of up and coming because he's in school and stuff. So he's cool with taking low pay on stuff. But I don't know. It's kind of like a negative thing because it might be just his inexperience actually hurting him in the long run. But he's getting paid very low for very high quality pieces. But it's just his choice because he's happy with that.
Maybe he's just trying to build up.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
He's just happy with that.
And see, that is a strategy. Like
it's plausible to use that to your advantage. If you can get cheap pay but good concepts.
Yeah.
Build a portfolio while you're in school.
There was a studio I actually visited firsthand in China that charged I think $90 per man per day. They're an absolute fucking sweatshop. I visited them on site. They're the most depressing place I think I've ever been in my fucking life.
That's sad.
So I sat in the conference room. I met with them for a little while. Then I walked into the room where all the artists were, as soon as I turned the corner, my eyes fucking exploded because it was like 2,000 feet to the opposite side of the room.
Wow.
I turned the corner. So the room was maybe like 100 feet wide, 2,000 feet long.
It's just like a hallway
of artists. It was a bigger room than I'd ever mentally prepared myself to accept. And it took a few seconds to even, like, for my eyes and my mind to adjust to that larger room of that many artists. They're charging $90 per man per day, and that was the lowest amount I've ever heard in my fucking life, and that was for really, really, really low level, absolute brain dead, like a prop art in the game industry. So, it's like overseas in China and India, honestly, the rates on the extreme low end start at maybe 140 up to 225, sometimes 250, sometimes 275 for the really good studios. In the West, individual artists charge anything from 200 to 350. 350 is not quite high end, but a little on the pricey end for Western artists.
Okay.
For really high end, like 2 to 3% best of the best artists, 350 to 700 per day.
Yeah.
So if you're a Western artist starting out, I'd say about 200 per day. If you are kind of mid-level, I'd say 250 to 300. If you are like front page CG talk, that's where it started about 350.
Yeah, that's where I would highball them. I mean, personally, you still want to get the job, but I'd highball them just a little bit, and then
highball.
Yeah, and then hope that they maybe just drop down to what you really wanted.
You know what's funny is when you highball somebody, like when you're really negotiating like a contract with a big studio or something, and you highball them just some stupid ridiculous number just for funny, and they're like, all right,
$1 million.
Or they say, oh no, we're going to pay you way more than that. It's like, well, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, did you feel like you got those questions, John? Do you feel adequate? Do you feel strong?
Yeah, I think so. Based on everything I've experienced in the 10 years I've been dealing.
Your voice is your voice almost gone?
I think that's reasonable. I feel confident in those numbers.
Well, cool. I think we should probably wrap it up then, because again, this is like the deepest we've gone. I'm looking over here at the counter, and we're almost at 2.5 hours. So
holy shit!
Seriously.
How are we gonna get this on YouTube?
I got some new techniques.
Okay.
Here's what I've been doing lately, folks. What I do is I just compress the videos to garbage and don't give a shit. But no, really, it's the only way to get
I thought we had a
these
time limit, though, not a gig limit.
Well, there's limitations. It's a gig limit.
I mean, I knew that there was a gig
limit. And the gig
but
limit is associated with a time limit versus the quality of the video and audio.
Okay.
So if I just drop that, I can save... What was happening was I was uploading the highest quality I could get within the time, and it was just... There would be plenty of times where the videos would just mess up. Not on my end. It's just you're uploading a video that's a super long upload. Sometimes long upload. You know, you're trying to download something and the server goes down. Same way with any YouTube video. You're uploading it and your internet drops for a second. It's your end or your provider's end, or something happens with the upload on the site and it's there on their end. It's like there's so many things that can go wrong. So you just tighten it up a little bit. And the MP3s are never that large anyway. The MP3s usually go up like boom.
Yeah.
Because they're only around 100 megs or so. This one will be a bit bigger than that, but. Yeah.
Yeah, we should wrap it up definitely then.
But yeah, that's what I'm doing right now, like a pro motherfucker.
Follow me on Twitter.
Follow just Brian McConnell on Twitter.
Yeah, just me.
Because
no one else.
If you follow Brian McConnell on Twitter and you tweet him hashtag I love rabbits too, TOO, and he'll send you a picture of him with his shirt off. Because Brian loves rabbits.
Never done that, rabbits are now adorable. I guess I have to stick to it.
You hear that Skyrim Foster Raw video, the rabbit knocking down the Xbox. Brian loves that. He likes Pokemon animations, and then we like the My Little Pony animations.
One of the fans of the podcast I'm actually taking out for a beer tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So because he hit me up.
Nice.
He hit me up on
Do you
Twitter.
want to name drop him?
Yeah, sure. Donovan Young. Why not? He seems like a
He
pretty
lives
cool
here in
guy.
Denver.
He lives in Thornton, but yeah, close to Denver.
Fuck that. Fuck him. No, I was just kidding.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
Next podcast, I really think we should start the portfolio of the week thing.
We could try it.
I agree. I got
If you've got a portfolio and you want to be portfolio of the week, reply to the Polycount thread, the CrunchCast,
prepared your
on
rip
Polycount
apart.
with your portfolio. Or you can Twitter us, email us, whatever you want. Contact@crunchstudios.com. The website is crunchstudios.com. We got the YouTube channel. We got the Vimeo. We got the MP3. Check out the XML feed. Oh, did you hear what I just did there? I made it melodical. So yeah, we
Send
got,
out.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, send out your prayers for Jesse Sosa.
He's probably wearing pants right now
Yeah.
Like the only time he ever wears pants is when he's not
on the show. Yeah.
on the show.
Yeah.
All
So here's my going out phrase: stretch, yoga, eat vegetables, floss, appreciate.
I loved that. That
It's
was
cute.
nice. Yeah.
I was thinking about stuff we talked about during the show, and I wrote it down. The reason I chose appreciate is because I didn't want to say talk to inanimate objects. So I just went with appreciate. 'Cause that's
Oh,
cool.
shit.
But yeah, I'm at Chris Holden Dev on Twitter. He's at Brian McConnell, which is BRYAN_MCCONNEL. At
L.
John Jones,
There's two L's.
JONJONES. Did I say 2 L's? Either way. You know how to find him.
Yeah.
All these guys were all over that internet.
Skanker Zero. That's Skanker Zero.
Missed him so bad.
I gotta pee. Check you guys
And
later.
yeah, so thanks for being a part, everybody, and lasting this long. And if you did, God bless you, because you sneezed.